Apparently, the intro video is not playing.
What is happening? I don't know. We're not doing an
So
intro today.
welcome to the Pesky Report, I guess. With no intro video, apparently. Question mark.
Goosebumps. That was the
Yeah.
Goosebumps intro.
I don't know what's going on. It's episode 575 of the Pesky Report. It's the minor league show. My name's Derek. I'm here with Hunter. I guess we'll just kick it off. Obviously brought to you by Beyond the Monster. Yeah, I don't know. I think we're both rattled now. I'm definitely rattled now. Don't know what's going on. No intro video apparently. Guess it doesn't like us. But Enddy Azocar won Player of the Week in Salem. So we'll start there, Hunter. Thoughts on Enddy Azocar's week?
Hold on, sorry. You're new to this. You weren't here last week. And with the no intro and everything, we do have an ad read now.
That is
we are
true.
brought to you by TJ Stats, advanced MLB stats tools, including pitchers, summaries, prospect rankings, live pitch data. Head over to tjstats.ca, that is CA, and use code PESKY, PESKY, for 25% off your first month. Again, that is tjstats.ca, and the code is PESKY for 25% off your first month. Okay.
I will add, just a reminder, if you missed it, Hunter, it is .ca. It is not .com.
Yes.
It is .ca. Back to you, Hunter.
So first, I need to start off with a quick story. I have a couple notes that I need to throw out there. I was running kind of late because I went for a run and I was like, oh crap, I need to go get my Dunkin'. So I went to get my Dunkin', and the entertainment gods, I guess, told me to take a different route home. So when I'm driving back, like 2 blocks from my house, there is a kid on his porch dressed like Michael Jackson, blasting Michael Jackson music with a microphone in his hand, dancing on his porch, just like for the entertainment of people passing by. And I gave him a honk. I was so mad I couldn't like if it was 10 minutes earlier, I would have gotten out of my car and recorded. I tried taking a video, but like it almost looks like I'm stalking him and you can't even hear the music. You just see him dancing. So I was like, I look like a pervert. I can't post this online. But just incredible scenes. Very happy that I got to witness that. And then I feel like I need to make a statement because there was an incident on Twitter. There were 2 incidents on Twitter. First off, please do not put in the newspapers that I got mad, because I did not get mad. Derek called me out for my sweeping declaration that I was not going to get into arguments on Twitter anymore. I did indeed get into an argument on Twitter. The argument is over, and I will from here on forth get into no more arguments on Twitter. And that is a sweeping declaration. I will no longer get into arguments on Twitter. And then the other Twitter incident was the Franklin Arias incident. Was that Friday, I believe? Friday or Saturday? Might have been Saturday. Whenever there was the whole Aroldis Chapman thing. Yeah, a day that ends in Y. Whenever there was the whole Aroldis Chapman thing where he was hugging his teammates, and for whatever reason, the Red Sox broadcast and like all the Red Sox reporters were like, "Oh my God, Aroldis Chapman's hugging his teammates. Did he get traded?" And apparently that's something he does every game. And it was maybe like, why didn't it? Like, you guys should know that.
Maybe he's just touchy, you know.
Yeah, well, we all know he is. Apparently, we've all seen that weird video. But there was also at just about what made it, I think, really go viral about the same time Franklin Arias was taken out of his game in AA, and I had reached out to someone in the organization and I asked about it, and they responded to me with a word that I will not use on here, and I tweeted out the word, and Tyler Milliken of the Section 10 podcast retweeted it, and he got called out for it. Funky. I will not say the word. And a lot of people on Twitter were trying to get me suspended on Section 10 for it. I did not get suspended. Screw you guys. You all look like fools, and I am better than you, apparently. But I just want to say that is a word that I've used a million times growing up, so it's been really hard for me to just not use it anymore. But I feel like I've gotten decent at it. For example, I didn't use it here. I did write it down, so maybe I should get better at that. But yeah, it was how he said it to me when it was given to me. So it was just I tweeted it out. I agree with what Tyler said. I didn't want to censor it because someone might think it's a different word. Obviously, no one's gonna think it's a different word. Now that I think about it, there's really nothing else that would make sense there. But yeah, just those were my 3 little notes for the start of the show. Michael Jackson kid, please don't put in the newspapers that I got angry, because I didn't. And the F word. Okay, minor league baseball. Where are we?
Yes, I will just add real quick too.
Yes.
Whoever that Red Sox person is, maybe they need to be suspended.
We can argue that.
Can reach out. I don't know. Maybe we reach out to Breslow and be like, "This person needs to be suspended." I'm not kidding. We don't want to, but you get them. This anonymous Red Sox staffer is officially suspended.
We'll have to figure that one out. But yeah, we're starting single A Salem because Enddy Azocar was the Carolina League Player of the Week, Offensive Player of the Week, because he went bananas. 9 for 21, 3 doubles, homer, and a steal with 297 batting average. As you can hear, Derek is still sick.
I'm dying over here.
He does not sound great.
I'm trying to mute my mic, and even then, like, I'm trying to turn it down. It's still not turning down all the way. It's bad.
It's not great, but you're trying. You're surviving. 297 average, 348 on base, 531 slug, 12 doubles, 2 triples, 6 homers. He's driven in 22 runs, scored 30, stolen 7 bases, which has been a nice surprise for him. Obviously, like the power swing has really shown up this year. Really feels like another just like massive hit for the Red Sox, especially when it comes. It seems like the Red Sox keep hitting on outfield prospects, which isn't a bad thing, but it's also like, man, it would be great if it was. It just seems like the hits keep coming with outfield prospects and with pitching prospects, which is awesome. But it's like, how about we throw in some more second base prospects and some third base prospects? I mean, well, don't get me wrong. There's some of those.
Don't get me started on the second base position. I have a whole rant planned out for when it needs to come on the second base position. There is a whole rant packed up in my head of the old golden age of second base from 07 to 2014. And now second baseman, it's Ketel Marte and the odd year Marcus Semien. And that's it.
Yeah, there was a time, man. There was a time with Pedroia and Cano and Dan Ugla even, and yeah.
Utley was there. I literally have a whole list. Ben Zobrist was playing some second base.
Ian Kinsler, Brandon Phillips.
Matt Carpenter had a really good 2013.
What was his name? Oh, now I'm gonna be mad. I used to take him all the time in old MLB 2K games. That's gonna annoy me. It'll come to me later. But yeah, Enddy Azocar has been just especially lately, a constant massive bat for Salem. He's been the guy who, even when everyone else is struggling, has come through with the big hits, which is big because Salem, obviously, it's the lowest level of the affiliate balls. So it tends to have a lot of guys who are younger, who are new to the system, who are just coming over from either being drafted or from, the FCL, the DSL, and they're just getting their footing. And I mean, technically, Enddy Azocar is one of those guys. He's still pretty new to single A. So you have a lot of guys who are still trying to figure things out, which leads to a lot of streaky play. And leads to a lot of like, well, this guy was good for the FCL, or this guy was good for the DSL, or this guy was good in college, or whatever it is, but they get over to single A and it's a whole different game. And, it's just, hey, they're not going to cut it here. And you see that a lot, and it leads to just a lot of holes in lineups. And so you need guys who just kind of carry the lineup, and he has been that guy for them. And don't get me wrong, Salem also has a lot of other really good players, people like Starlin Nunez, who has always been a spark plug for them. He was a spark plug for them all last year. And he's someone that Azocar tends to drive in. But yeah, he's been phenomenal all year. And this was arguably his best week of the season.
Yeah. Enddy Azocar was great. I'm going to throw a couple other second base names out. You have Ricky Weeks, Aaron Hill, Brian Roberts.
Ricky Weeks and his brother, who
was
not nearly as good.
I think like Plasto Polanco played a little bit of second base as well. Howie Kendrick. Yeah, there were some second basemen back then. That's all I'll say. There were some second basemen back then. Unfortunately, it's not the same anymore. Because all the really good defensive second basemen mostly end up at shortstop anyways, like Andres Jimenez or Nico Horner if Dansby Swanson wasn't a Cub. And then your pure second, like Ketel Marte, like one of his best years was 2019, but he played more center field than second base. Like the damn second base position, people. Although back to Enddy Azocar, yeah, really, really good week. He's someone who is just, it's gonna be fun. I know you did mention like the whole like outfield thing. It is interesting because Justin Gonzales did play first base this week. So that'll be something we can talk about when we get to Greenville. But it does feel like they are really hitting on some outfield prospects. And it's interesting because they've also traded some away. It was weird because it felt like we were saying outside of the catcher spot, like, outfield might be the weakest thing. It's felt like not too long ago we were saying that. Maybe like last year after the deadline, when it was, they trade away Earhart and Tibbs, and obviously you would still do the Garrett Crochet trade. You got a finger up, Hunter?
Orlando Hudson.
Orlando
Hudson. It was O-Dog, Orlando Hudson.
Yep.
That's what it was. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. No, you're good. But it very much, it was like you trade Earhart and Tibbs. Obviously, the Brandon Montgomery, you trade Brandon Montgomery, and it's just part of that Crochet trade every day of the week. But, you trade Stinson in the offseason, which makes sense. He was totally blocked. Like, duh. Like, if Christian Campbell ain't seeing the big leagues, if Christian Campbell isn't seeing the big leagues, Stinson Garcia is not seeing the big leagues. Like, let's just be completely honest. And so, like, yeah, like, they didn't move off of some outfielders, but you start kind of looking, and like, yeah, Enddy Azocar looks really, really good. Like, we have high hopes for Skylar King, Justin Gonzales, obviously, Yo Ferry, Isaiah Jackson's good defensively. In Double-A, you have the kind of Miggy Blaze and Nelly Taylor duo that's really good defensively and has shown flashes at time of having potential at the plate. Right? There's, I know he's not a prospect, but Christian Campbell is in AAA. Alan Castro's there. I know he hasn't had like the greatest time of it, but like, it's a guy who before this year had never played in AAA, and he's only 23 years old. So you start doing kind of the math on the outfielders, and it's like, they kind of have a little bit of a nice group here. It's not, it's not totally like a totally absurd group, but it's definitely it's talented enough. And right there, like near the top of that group, like, it's probably Justin Gonzales, and then Enddy Azocar is that second guy right there. And I think that, we saw the play he made in the Futures game. Everyone kind of, I feel like a lot of people jump back to that. But he also too, like, to me, he feels like he has that like weird prototypical outfield body in my head. Like he's 6'2", 170. Like that feels like okay, yeah, that guy's gonna play some outfield. Like he runs well. He's not like too muscular, but like he's got a good arm. He feels like an outfielder, right? And he's like, could he get a little bit bigger? Yeah, but I don't see Enddy Azocar being someone who's going to end up like 6'2", 210, right? I don't see it, right? But like that's totally fine. He kind of, to me in my head, he fits that like outfield body.
Yeah,
I guess. Like I love Justin Gonzales, but also like yeah, like Aaron Judge is an outlier, I guess. But like guys that big don't feel outfielderish to me. It feels like you're just asking for injuries. Like Giancarlo Stanton, right? Like, yeah, he had his peaks, but like he also has had his fair share of injuries.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't want to compare it, but like, I feel like bigger guys are more susceptible to injuries at times. And I hate to say it, but like, you look at like a Tristan Casas, right? Like, and the guy, he had two of the most unfortunate, unlucky, probably nothing he could have done about it injuries. Right? Like, so like with Justin Gonzales, I'm not saying he's gonna be injury prone or anything, but I'm more so saying like Enddy Azocar has that more like traditional outfield body, where you look at Enddy Azocar and you go, yeah, that guy can be a center fielder.
Yeah.
Right. Justin Gonzales, he's played some center field. Do I think he's gonna be a center fielder? No. And that's not a knock on him. He's just 6'7" and massive. Right? Like, so in that thing too, like with Azocar, you have the upside on both sides of the ball. Realistically, with like all five tools, like there's a legitimate chance you get a legitimate 5-tool prospect there. The defense, the arm, the speed, the power, and the hit tool as well. Right. And it's interesting because Sox prospects stated that he had like average bat speed, but like that's also something too that we know the Red Sox have done really well at improving with guys. And like he's only 19 years old, and he still has he can still fill out a little bit, right? He's only going to get stronger. So like you kind of see some of the things like that, and you're like, okay, like there's also like you also see the upside as well. Yeah. And I mean, overall on the year, like the numbers aren't like crazy blow away, like 297, 348, 531, 879 OPS. Like it's good, but it doesn't seem crazy. The 12 doubles, 2 triple, 6 homers is really good. But you also have to remember he's playing at Salem, and we've seen what Salem does to guys' numbers. Like Roman Anthony is always the example we go back to, right? Always is. But
it's hard to find a better example than Roman Anthony.
Yeah, it is. It's hard. It's hard to find a better example than, oh yeah, Roman Anthony and his, his numbers that look mediocre to good, but nothing crazy at Salem, and then he goes up to Greenville and just starts.
He was hitting what, like 221 at Salem or something?
Yeah, it was something stupid. Like it didn't make sense, right? Because also too, like you would see the quality of contact, and you're just like, what the hell is going on here? Like, what are we doing? Like, how is it doesn't make sense, right? And then he goes to Greenville, obviously, and I'm not going to call any names out, but I saw someone call Greenville a bandbox, and I'm like, I'm like, Greenville might be a bandbox compared to Salem. I don't know if I'd call it a bandbox, though.
I saw that too, and I was like, I disagree, especially because I saw that too, and on the home run, it was like a left center homer, and I was like, that's like a 400-foot homer. It doesn't. I don't care what ballpark you're hitting at. That's a home run. It doesn't matter. That's a home run. But so in 2022, in 10 games, Roman slashed 189, 279, 243 in Salem. And then in 42 games in 2023, he slashed 228, 376, 316 in Salem. So yeah, like box score watchers were probably like, why is there any buzz on this dude? He's trash. Like, why are we hyping this guy up? And then he went to Greenville, and it was like, oh, okay, I get it now.
Even though, like, I think the real thing with Roman was like the Portland call up, because like in Greenville it was good, but like that late 2023 call up to Portland, where it was only 10 games, but he had 12 hits in those 10 games with 4 doubles and a homer. and he walked 8 times, only strike out 6 times. Like that, I think was the one where like the box score, like if you're like a little bit more of like a box score watcher, you saw that and you went, "Oh, hello!" Right? It was only 10 games, right? But I feel like that's all it takes sometimes when you're watching box scores to be like, "Oh God, like this guy is," And then obviously 24 came around, and we all know what happened. Right? He just continued to just be Roman Anthony, right? But
Yeah.
I do think like we'll go like going back to Azocar, like there is legitimate reason to believe that like he could be like a legit 5-tool center fielder, which like I'll go back to Roman, for example, right? Like Roman, like, yeah, like played center field, but like there was a little bit of a somewhat consensus of like he's probably going to end up in the corners, and not because he was bad defensively, but also Roman's listed at what, like 6'3", 200, I think that's what Sox Prospects has him as. But like Roman's like very big in terms of like the guy's jacked, right? Like Roman Anthony looks a little bit more like a right fielder or a left fielder than a center fielder. Maybe right fielder, because like left field, I feel like a lot of people imagine like your big power hitting outfielder who can barely move.
Yeah,
But
you're thinking, especially at Fenway, you're thinking Manny Ramirez.
yeah, but like Roman looks. You look at Roman, you go like Willier when he was coming up through the system. Like I remember when they were like there were times Willier would play center field, and it's like yeah, he might be able to play center field, but he's gonna play right field.
Yeah.
Right, like he's just built to play right field. Like Sadon, for example, I could not see Sadon playing left field ever. Just can't see it. I cannot see that body in center and left field. I just can't. Right, like Enddy Azocar is a little bit like similar in that sense, where it's like I see him like as a guy like just even body type wise like fits the mold of center fielder. Right, and like the defense is good enough, the arm's good enough, the speed should be good enough. I mean, speed in all honesty isn't even that like big. Like Jackie Bradley Jr. was never the fastest guy in the world.
Yeah,
but like he got to balls he had no business getting to, right? And a lot of it was because of how good his jump was. So, but like Asgar has the speed, he has the defense, he has the glove, he has the arm, and then the bat's only gonna get better, especially with time, right? Like the bat's already good, but it's only going to get better. And I think that's what's so exciting about Azocar, where it's like you can see the 5 tools. Whereas, like, with Roman at times, it was like, okay, it was like, defense is good, but he's probably going to end up in a corner. Yeah, the bat's obscene, right? But, like, Roman's already big. What's the run going to look like? Right? What's the speed going to look like? Not that the speed's going to be such an issue, but, like, as Roman, like it's one of the things even now at 22, when Roman hits 26, right, is the speed going to be the same, right? With Enddy Azocar, I don't really see that being an issue, right? Not as much, unless he gets massive. But like I said, his body type doesn't seem like the massive type.
Yeah,
it just doesn't feel that way. And obviously, I mean the number. I mean, very much deserving of Player of the Week for the Carolina League, very much so. 4 extra base hits. He only struck out 6 times, which, if your box score watching might sound a little bit like a lot, but you got to remember a lot of guys in, the lower minors, you'll see weeks where they strike out 9, 10, 11, 12 times, right? So 6 strikeouts in 5 games is totally fine. He still drew 2 walks, right? Had the homer, just like an all-around really good week. There's not really, I guess the only critique is that he only went 1 for 2 in stolen bases, I guess. Like, is that the only critique we can really make? Like, is that what we're doing here? Because outside of that, like, I don't see any real critique.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, it feels like there's a legit 5-tool. There's a legit 5-tool potential there, which
and like you kind of alluded to a couple times, there's usually not a lot to critique with him. Like you've said, like 5-tool guy. There's usually not many things you critique with Enddy Azocar at this point. And as he moves up, there will be more critique because he'll be going up against better competition. But like right now, he's just kind of too good for single A. Like, yeah, when he goes to high A and when he goes to double A, it'll be like, okay, he's going up against better competition, and he'll have weeks where and I mean, even now he's 19, so he's going to have bad weeks, but there will be weeks where he's more overmatched than he is now. But yeah, just right now, it's going to be harder for him to really poop the bed.
Yeah, although like that's also totally acceptable too. Like that's the other thing too. Like it's totally fine for a guy to have. I think that's the thing that too. Sometimes like people get a little bit too caught up in like a guy having a rough week or two, or even like a rough month. Like a perfect example right now is like Kyson Witherspoon, right?
Yes.
Which I know I'm kind of bouncing between Greenville and Salem right now, but like, and like he's had a rough first month. It's literally his first month of professional baseball, people. Like, and like you've seen that we have seen the flashes. If you watch it starts, like you've seen the flashes where he looks disgusting.
Yeah, where he dominates a hitter, and it's like, oh, the pitches are disgusting. Yeah,
it's one of those things where it's like and it's okay for a guy to like. It goes back to a thing where I used to say it a lot more when we first started the show, but like player development's not linear. It's not like there's like Roman Anthony might have had the most obscene player development that we've seen. Actually, not even Ben Roman. It might be Peyton Tolley, right? But like Peyton Tolley is the guy where, comes to the minor leagues, the fastball looks amazing. It's like, oh, this guy has like ace potential. He gets up to the big leagues, has the good first start that was ruined by Greg Weisser. Thanks very much. I was in attendance. Ruined it. But after that, like he got hit a little bit, right? But like that's okay, right? The guy was, had one really good pitch and secondaries that were very much in development, right? But you look at him this year, like the starting against the Braves, he didn't have the strikeout stuff. The guy went 8 innings.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we would not have seen that from Peyton Tolley, if like at the end of last year. Not at all, right? But like he still had his fair share of bumps. Like his first pro start was rough, right? His, the end of last year before they bumped into the bullpen, like he had a couple struggles. But that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's, to me, and I'm not saying this is everyone, because some people I think are earnestly just like, hey, what's going on? Why is he struggling? But I think to me, some people just want to be able to say like, hey, I was the first person to say he's not good. Like, I genuinely think some people just want to look like they're the smart person that are like, hey, I said Kyson Witherspoon sucked before anybody else did. Because then, like,
but like, wouldn't you be the smart person if you went? But wouldn't you be the smart person though if you went? Oh, I think
you would be.
Well, like I'll use this example, like, oh, I think Mason White's gonna be really good, or I think whoever it is, right? Brooks Brannon's gonna have a really good year this year, right? Because we've seen like how like he had a great week. We'll get to him, right? But like, wouldn't you rather be the guy that goes, I think this guy's like, imagine being the first guy to be like, publicly be like, I think Roman Anthony's going to be really good.
Yes,
right?
The people that are not earnestly, the people that are asking it like angrily are doing it because they don't actually enjoy, they don't want the Red Sox to be good. They don't like the Red Sox.
No. Well, like it's also the unfortunate thing where like everyone needs something to complain about, and it's like, dude, why are we complaining? Like,
but yeah, it's like he's thrown 25 innings, man. Like, I said it to someone the other day, and again, this person was being earnest, so I'm not. But it's like, even like at 50 innings, sure, you could maybe say something, but even then, I'm not worried. It's 50 innings. At the end of the year, I'll still be like, man, it was his first year in professional baseball. Like, yeah, you could be like, that wasn't great, but I'm still gonna be like, it was his first year in professional baseball. Like, it'll maybe raise some concerns, but I'm not going to be completely out on someone after their first year in professional baseball. It takes people time.
I still, in some ways, I'm not fully out on like Anazan Zanatello.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, he's like, if we're talking about struggles, like he's legitimately struggled for multiple years now. But even then, like the raw tools are there.
Yeah.
Right.
It's obviously it's a good thing for the Red Sox and for Red Sox fans, but it also doesn't help them. It doesn't hurt them, but it doesn't help their perception when like Anthony Ianson is like, hey, I'm just going to be the best pitcher in the world. So then they have him to be compared to. Like, I think that because then fans are like, well, Ianson's doing it, so why can't they do it? So like that, I think that kind of hurts their fan perception. Obviously, like the people in the organization aren't like, oh, you should be doing what he's doing. But I do think that might be like a little bit of it where fans are like, the guy who was drafted after him's the best pitcher in the world. Why aren't they doing that?
Well, also too, like totally doing it like last year also doesn't help. It's so funny because we say it every year. It's not going to happen again.
Yeah,
and it's been happening every single year. Like we're literally every single year coming in, like the beginning of the year, we're like, don't expect something like this to happen.
I swear it doesn't happen to other teams. Like,
no, it doesn't.
It really doesn't.
It
I
doesn't.
don't know how the Red Sox keep doing this. It's witchcraft.
It's obscene. It's literally obscene. Like, because like you look at like top prospects, like Seth Hernandez is having like a stupid year for the Pirates. The guy was the 6th pick in the draft. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Great for him. He's doing it like straight out of high school. Great. Like, but like the guy was also the 6th pick of the draft.
Like he was expected to do this. Like when
yeah,
the Red Sox drafted Anthony Ianson, there were people that were like, "This is a bad pick." Like,
which also is like outright. What do you mean bad pick, dude? Like the guy was the number 2 for LSU behind the guy who went 3rd overall. Like I think everyone in the draft, like Kyson Witherspoon would have been the number 2 for LSU. Like, what are we doing here? But like, no, it doesn't happen. Like, I mean, I feel like maybe you can make an argument. It happens a little bit to like the Dodgers, maybe, right? Like, I think that's maybe the only other team that like you can make the argument that some stuff like this happens to. But like, because like I remember like the Cubs
like not to crap on him, but like look at the Yankees. Yankees fans have been clinging on to Spencer Jones is the next Aaron Judge for the last like 6 years. Like genuinely,
yeah, that's
that
true.
Man has been in AA/AAA for like 4 years, and they're like, "This is the year. This is the," and he just keeps striking out 700 times.
But then too, like they get a Cam Schlittler, right?
Yes, they do get the guy once in a while, but
but like it doesn't happen like the Dodgers. I think are really the other team that really happens to a lot because like the Cubs in 2023 take Zaire Hope in the 11th round, and I remember it was like one of the things too where it was like some people were unsure if he was gonna sign or not, but like the Dodgers got him back in the Michael Busch trade, right? And I feel like a lot of people then were like, okay, like they just traded Michael Busch, like, and Michael Busch obviously kind of popped off when he went to the Cubs, but like Zaire Hope is one of my favorite prospects in all of baseball. Like the power potential's obscene. Yes, he does strike out a lot. It's a little bit like there is that swing and miss concern with him, but like the guy also was a lefty pitcher in high school, as on top of being a position player, and was gross on the mound too. Like that's a guy where the Dodgers like, okay, yeah, he pops off for the Dodgers. It's like, okay, it's like, yeah, I guess it's the Dodgers. Like it happens, right? Like, like Mike Soroto is like another good example for the Dodgers. 3rd round pick in 2024 by the Reds. They get him in the Gavin Lux trade before last year, and then just decides to have a 1068 OPS, albeit only in 59 games last year. And then this year he's got a 1080 OPS on high A, right? Like the Dodgers, I think, are the only other team that has stuff like this happen to them consistently. But the Dodgers, there's a reason the Red Sox want to be the Dodgers. Like they're not going to be the Dodgers in terms of spending, but there's a reason everyone wants to be the Dodgers. Their player development's obscene.
Yeah.
It's obscene, right? And I mean, the Red Sox player development right now is doing really good. I know, obviously, the whole big league thing, the offense sucks, blah, 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 blah. Like, you're not wrong, but, like, the Red Sox, a lot, like, the roster was kind of built around the pitching, and 2 of their best pitchers right now are homegrown pitchers. Like, when's the last time that's happened for the Red Sox? It's really, 2013 with Lester and Buckles? And Buckles is very much, either he's on or he's not. Like there's no other way to put it. He was either on or he wasn't on at all. There is no in between with Clay Buchholz. Like you literally with Early and Tolley, like they legitimately have two guys who are legitimate pieces of the. Tolley has a 2 ERA in 30 innings this year in the big leagues. Like, when's the last time the Red Sox have had that out of a guy who's a rookie? Essentially,
I don't want to pit two bad bitches against each other. But I can't believe there were people in the offseason that were like, Connolly Early is so clearly like a better long-term piece for the Red Sox than Peyton Tolley. Like, Connolly Early's a very good pitcher, but it's like Peyton Tolley is ace potential through and through, and it's not even close. Connolly Early has
two different types of pitchers as well.
Yeah, and it's like Connolly Early could have some really, really, really good seasons, but it's like Peyton Tolley's ceiling is like multiple Cy Youngs. Connolly Early's probably not hitting that. Like, Peyton Tolley's ceiling is genuine best pitcher in baseball.
It feels like the comp for me of like the Red Sox comp is like if Tolley is Chris Sale, Early's David Price.
Like Red Sox David Price?
Well, Red Sox David Price. Like the one
I was gonna say, I don't think he's hitting like Ray.
No, Red Sox. Like like the guy where it's like he's your bona fide number two. He can be your bona fide number two, and he can have some big moments, but like he's also gonna have struggles at times. Right, Red Sox David Price, not Cy Young caliber David Price. With like before the Red Sox, Sox David Price.
Like I love Connolly Early, great dude. Think he's a very good pitcher. Like, I'm not trying to bash him or anything. It's just, it's incredible to me that people were like, I'd get rid of Peyton Tolley right now. And it's like, man, I don't think you guys realize how good Peyton Tolley is.
Early's more polished, I think was more so the thing.
And I think
everyone saw, and there were a lot of people.
They saw Connolly Early like not struggle as much, and they were like, oh, well, that's the guy. And it's like, man.
Yeah, well, they also, too, in some ways, too, the other thing, too, is like sometimes people take being more polished as, oh, this guy's going to be better. And it's like, no, they're more, like, for those you have to remember, too, like, Early's more of a pitcher, whereas Tolley was more of a thrower. But here's the thing with throwers, a la Garrett Crochet, right? Give them time to develop and let them become great pitchers, and now they have the thrower stuff plus the ability to pitch. And it is disgusting. It's gross. Jacob Mizorowski this year. Yeah. Like, the guy, like, or this is even a better comp, Chase Burns, right? Because Chase Burns has been gross this year. The guy's legitimately a two-pitch pitcher. He's still a thrower, but gosh, he starts if he adds a third pitch to the mix, Chase Burns is going to be disgusting.
It's like
Hunter Green early in his career, right? Hunter Green's another one, right?
It's like Chapman when he got here, and after like the first month when he was doing good, and they were like, "What changed?" And he was like, "They told me to locate my pitches," and it was like, no one told you to pitch and not to just throw. Like, no one in your 15-year career told you to locate.
But like Chapman, especially think of like 20, 22, 23, 24-year-old Chapman or whatever it was. The guy was pumping 105 out of the bullpen.
I guess.
I mean,
like,
look at Mason Miller right now. Look at Mason Miller right now. Like, that's a guy who, like, legitimately, Mason Miller could probably throw his fastball every pitch and still be a really good closer.
Yeah.
Like, Miller's a little bit different because he was kind of developed as a starter, and then they moved him to the bullpen because injury concerns. But, like, not that the Padres should do this, but if they were so desperate and were to make Mason Miller a starter, like, after this year, like, Mason Miller would legitimately be, like, my dark horse Cy Young candidate. Because, like, fastball slide is already
would fall off by
his arm would 100% fall off. Don't get me wrong, it 100% would, but like, if his arm doesn't
go into the sixth inning once and fall.
Well, Blake Snell won 2 Cy Youngs not going past 5 innings, so I mean,
fair. Yeah, look what he's doing now. Dude pitched 3 innings this year and was like, I got to go back on the IL, man. What are we doing?
But no, like that. The thing with Tolley is like Tolley early, and like even some of the guys like throughout the system where Jake Bennett is the perfect example of this. Jake Bennett is a pitcher. The guy is not a thrower.
Yeah.
It was one of the things where I was talking with Jason, and Jason, because we went during the Rays series to the Red Sox game, and it was the game Bennett pitched. And Jason was like, we were talking to Jason's like, does the fact that he doesn't strike a lot of guys out like worry you? And I'm like, in some ways maybe, but like it's just not who he is. Like the guy's not a thrower, he's a pitcher. Like he mixes his pitches, he typically does a really good job at limiting hard contact. Like there's still, especially with him being a lefty, there's more of a world for that as well. Right. And like you look at Early, right? Early has better stuff than Bennett, right? But like Early very much like relies on having that deep pitch mix. The thing with Tolle really, in some ways, Tolle is like, okay, you could have two really good pitches. All you need is that third pitch, right? And Tolle this year, it's like fastball, cutter, sinker can be like three pitches that all differ from each other, but are they're still technically all fastballs. And then at that point, all you need is the slider, which was already his best secondary. Slider, sweeper, whatever you want to call it, right? Like, and I think when you look at kind of pitching as in general, you look at Ianson. This is why Ianson's kind of popping off so much too this year, I think. Compared to a little bit different than like Witherspoon. Witherspoon has the four pitches. Don't get me wrong, the stuff is nasty, right? But sometimes too, when you're coming out of college and you have such disgusting stuff, you kind of are a little bit more thrower-ish, even if you have a 3-4 pitch mix. Whereas Ianson had in college was a little bit more reliant on that pitch mix, right? Like Ianson was more like a low to mid 90s guy in college, whereas this year he's more mid to high 90s. Right, like the stuff uptick, right, is really, really like that really helps because Ianson already I'm not saying Witherspoon doesn't have this, but like compared to like Marcus Phillips, for example, who was mostly coming out of the bullpen in college, right? Like Marcus Phillips is more of a thrower than he is a pitcher, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? Because you look at a guy like Peyton Tolle. Was not really a pitcher last year, more of a thrower, and now this year he's becoming more of a pitcher, right? He's still going to be always heavily reliant on that fastball, but this year he's got the four seam, he's got the sinker, he's got kind of the cutter that's seemingly like divulged from like the slider, and then you also have the curveball, and then the occasional changeup. He's only throwing it 4% of the time, but really it's the curveball kind of coming in and then having that kind of fastball differential between the four seam, sinker, and cutter, right? And it allows him to be more of a pitcher. You look at Anthony Ianson, he has that pitch mix, right? You look at other guys throughout the system, Jake Bennett, for example, has that pitch mix. And it's really interesting. It kind of sucks, like a guy like Juan Valera, right? The Tommy John's so unfortunate because the stuff was so gross. Like in some ways, guys like that are throwers, but like when you start to turn them from throwers into pitchers, like the sky is the limit, right? Those are the guys who end up being the best pitchers in baseball. Look at all like outside of like Christopher Sanchez, Ranger Suarez, and like a couple other guys, like a lot of the best pitchers in baseball are guys who have elite stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Like Dylan Cease is a guy who has really good stuff. Max Fried, a little bit more pitchery, but even still, like Mizorowski, Skeens, McLean. I'll even include Gosman because the splitter's that disgusting. Right? Like that splitter probably saved his career. Jose Soriano, Sandy Alcantara, right? Chase Burns. Like the amount of guys who are like Chris Sale, right? The amount of really good pitchers in baseball that a lot like have elite stuff and learn to pitch as that stuff grows is and that's the thing when you go back to a guy like a Witherspoon, right? Like it's the thing is like, yeah, he's struggling, but like you see the potential there. You see the pitch mix. You see the different pitches being nasty at times. It's a little bit different from someone like a Marcus Phillips, for example, who the stuff can be dominant, but it's really the fastball that he's relying on. And then, you might be working off the fastball with a slider or kind of like a cutter-ish pitch. But that's kind of it, really. He has a changeup. He doesn't he didn't throw it much in college, right? And I think that's too. Everyone's development path is different. On top of development not being linear, everyone's development path is different.
Yeah.
Right. Kyson Witherspoon could struggle up until June, and then June might come around and something might click. Right. We don't know. I mean, you look at you look this week, kind of jumping around a little bit, but you can kind of look throughout. You go into I think the biggest thing is Worcester this week, right? Look at someone like Angel Bastardo, right? I know we're jumping around a little bit, but I think he's a perfect example of that development not being linear, because it's the guy who gets hurt, Rule 5 pick by the Blue Jays. Obviously, it doesn't really work out. Kind of figures, but his kind of career path is very different than his development path has been very different than other guys. And I think it's a little bit of a testament too to how varied development can be. I mean, you look at Bastardo's number, he had a 4.50 ERA in Salem in 2022 with 22 starts. Then he made 21 starts in Greenville with a 4.62 ERA, then got 3 starts in Portland. Then the next year in Portland in 24, if you're just looking at the ERA, it's a 5.36 ERA in 45 innings, and then he gets hurt. As Tommy John becomes a Rule 5 pick, misses all of 25, and then he comes back this year, comes back to the Red Sox, right? But you look at the stuff this year, and there could be a little bit of, him doing it out of the bullpen, having a difference, but
I think that does help because there's the uptick, he's
the uptick and stuff. You don't have to worry about the stuff. Yeah, you don't have to worry about the stuff fading, which I know at times was an issue for him. But he's doing this this week in AAA, 3 innings, no hits, no runs, no walks, no hit batters, 5 strikeouts and 2 appearances. Disgusting, right? This year, if you kind of go game by game for Bastardo, right? It's literally he had the one bad appearance against Scranton Wilkes-Barre. You could maybe argue 2 rougher appearances, but he had the one really bad appearance. But outside of that, he's been really good, right? It was really those 2 appearances against Scranton Wilkes-Barre, where it's 2 innings, 2 runs, but had some really struggle with traffic, and then the 2 runs in an inning and 2/3, right, where he gave up 5 hits. But outside of those 2 appearances, he's been really, really good, and it's not just really good where he's yeah, maybe it's not just really good. Like I said, this week didn't allow a base runner. What do you want? There's not much more you can ask out of a guy, right? And it's something where maybe it is a bullpen role for him down the road. Maybe it's not going to be as a starter, but we saw moments as a starter where he'd have an 8 or 10 strikeout game, right? Now it's out of the bullpen. The stuff looks like it's ticked up. Great and all, obviously, but he's also doing this in AAA too, which is a level he's never pitched at before. So, in that sense too, you look at Bastardo and you kind of start looking. It's oh yeah, this is a legitimate development can be all over the place. And this is also another thing. Don't just box score watch, because if you look at Bastardo's, I read out his ERAs, you wouldn't really think much out of that. But there's
a reason that he got picked in the Rule 5 draft.
Yes.
Now, I do think part of it was that he had the Tommy John, and the Blue Jays were probably oh, we can work with him while he's injured, and we have a year to figure things out. But it was he was also decently highly regarded. There was very clear arm talent where people were man, there's a lot to work with this guy. Like no one cared that he had a 5 ERA in Double-A.
Yeah,
like, man,
no.
this guy's got talent.
No, and I think too, like that's another thing too, where it's like if you wonder why someone's ranked so highly, right? Even though the numbers don't look good, go look at their Sox prospects page. It's gonna tell you, right? If you wonder why someone's numbers look great, but maybe they're not as high as you think they should be, like a perfect example of like somewhat like if we're looking at like numbers and numbers not being crazy, like Mikey Romero is the number 13 prospect, right? And like Mikey's numbers this year, they're not crazy. 235, 305, 329, 2 homers, right? But you miss a lot of the stuff with just looking at those. Like the amount of hard hit balls that Mikey has hit for outs this year
he's not had great luck.
Is obscene. It's literally obscene. And obviously, like he had a really good week this week. 6 hits. He went 6 for 18, a double, a homer, 3 RBIs. Right, good week for him. Don't get me wrong.
I'd argue it was his best week of the season.
I definitely think
double the homer again. Like you said, he was hitting the ball hard. It was only his 2nd homer of the year, which again just kind of shows the bad luck. But
yeah, well, I think too, like this year he's got a 284 BABIP. His career in the minors is 304. That doesn't seem like a massive difference, but like there's definitely an argument to make that like the numbers should start coming around towards Mikey Romero.
I mean, even if
like,
he had the same career. If he had the same career BABIP, first off, if he has a 304 now, that would mean he probably had like a 309 coming into the year. So if he had a 309 BABIP this year, that would mean he had like a 259 on batting average this year, which would mean he had a much better season right now than what he's having. So like that is a massive difference.
And I think the biggest thing for him too,
but he would have.
Well,
he would be having a better year.
Yeah, but you also have to look too for him. Like his strikeout rate this year is only 20%. Last year it was 27%, and when he was in Worcester, it was 30%.
Yeah,
like that is
very clear,
massive for Mikey. Yeah. That's massive. It's not just a little bit. Like that is probably the most important thing for Mikey this year, right? And it would be nice to maybe see like some of his like expected numbers, like his expected batting average, expected slug, like that stuff. Unfortunately, like that would be like the thing for me. Like you can go to TJ Stats. I don't have it up right now because my laptop will probably croak if I pull up any more tabs. I'm not joking. It probably will. So I'm not pulling it up because I don't want my laptop to explode.
Not only is the walk rate down from, like you said, 27 to 19.8, the strikeout rate. I mean, the walk rate has gone from 7 to 7.8, which like not a great jump, but again, a jump. So like both things that were massively talked about as things that need to be improved are being improved. Like,
and things he talked about improving as well.
Yeah,
this isn't
he
random
talked about
thing.
Improving. The team talked about needing to be improved. Like, this isn't just like fans being like, I would like to see that move. Like, the people that actually matter are saying these are the things that need to be worked on.
Yeah, no, it's definitely too, like, it is important. Definitely. I think the other thing too that like here's a perfect segue. I know we're jumping around a little bit this episode, but I do kind of like I don't mind the jumping around because if we kind of want to talk player development, like Brooks Brannon, hello, like another really good, like this week, he had 6 hits in 20 at bats. He had a double, 2 homers, 3 walks this week. He's someone who this year, if you just go by like the numbers, like if you just look at the numbers, 339 average, 1266 OPS, 7 homers already, and 59 at bats, right? Like,
yeah, you
look at like, and Brannon was so interesting for a while because the thing for him was always, oh no, it's the bat, right? The bat's going to be the carrying thing for him. But like when you kind of look through, like there's a reason why in the 9th round he got a $712,500 bonus in the 9th round. There's a reason they went, over slot for him. Like they knew, like they believed in the talent, and like if you look through the numbers, like 2023 at Salem, he only played 6 games. 2024, he played 54 games, 251, 326, 396, 722. Doesn't look crazy, right? In Greenville and Portland last year, he split the time. It was 270, 313, 398, 711 in 711 OPS in Greenville with 5 homers in 55 games. Last year in Portland, it was 224, 302, 385 for 687 OPS. The numbers don't look crazy, right? And then he comes in this year, and it's only 17 games for him, but like 20 for 59, 5 doubles, a triple, 7 homers. He also stole a base, and he's only got 19 strikeouts compared to his 12 walks, which is a bigger deal for him, because if you look through his years, see if you split them by levels, 67 strikeouts to 23 walks, 63 strikeouts to 12 walks, 54 strikeouts to 15 walks, right? The fact that he's already got 12 walks this year with the 19 strikeouts, like that's a very big improvement for him. And the power is legitimately there. And part of me is like a little bit too is like wonders like, yeah, does the moving him off catcher really make that big of a difference? But like, I think it does in some ways, right? Because there was always questions of would he stay at catcher? Like
yeah,
how
I know catcher was like his position growing up. Like that's the position he's always played. And he was like, it's not like he wasn't comfortable at the position or anything. But my multiple thoughts on this are one, he came into the organization, and that was like the immediate question of does he stay here long term? And they immediately have him catching, DHing, playing first base a little bit, and so like then there's already that in the back of his mind is where am I playing? And then also just catching wears on you, man. Like for 9 innings, you're crouching down, you're diving after balls in the dirt, you're, jumping up to try to throw guys out at the plate. Like that's crushing your knees for 9 innings. And it's like that has to make it harder to swing at the plate. And I'm sure come the 9th inning, your at bats have to suck. Like there's no way you're having your best at bats late in games. So yeah, I feel like that has to make a massive difference. Not that first basemen have the best time of it. They're over there doing the splits and getting into collisions and everything at first base all the time, but it's certainly a lot less taxing at first base. But yeah, so I 100% agree. I feel like that definitely has a bigger part in it than some people might think that it does. But yeah, he had that absurd week in against New Hampshire last week. And it was nice to see. Then he goes 0 for 3 with 2 walks in the first game of the series this week. And then 1 for 5, but he had a homer in the next game. And it was like, okay, maybe he's cooling down a bit. And then it was 2 for 4 with a double, 1 for 3 with a homer, added 3 more walks in those 2 games. And it was like, added 1 more walk in those 3 games. And it was just like, okay, yeah, this just might be who Brooks Brannon is. He just might be a freak at this point. Do I expect him to have a 339 batting average and a 1,266 OPS all year? Obviously not. But like, I do think he's someone AA pitching is going to fear. And I do think I think he's still going to probably strike out a little bit too much at times. I think the strikeouts maybe are going to be a little corrected. Awesome. That's great. But like, I think he's not going to all of a sudden become a 12% strikeout guy or anything. But I think he's going to draw a lot more walks because that is something he's always been decent at. The strikeout number or the walk numbers were never like great. But I think that was kind of just a case of he was injured a lot and he strikes out a lot. And it was like, you could almost kind of see him pressing. And it was like, you're trying to make up for lost time. And you're like, oh man, this is only my 30th game of the year. And I need to try to make an impression. And I got to go up there and swing the bat. And it's like, hey man, I'm healthy now and I'm crushing it. And now I can take my pitches and it's working for him. And I think we're at a point where we're going to see teams be like, I kind of don't want to pitch to Brooks Brannon, man. Like, oh, there's a guy on second base. I don't want to pitch to Brooks Brannon. Why should I? Because he's probably going to bring him in. He has 20 RBIs in 17 games. That is stupid. That is absurd. The Portland, I believe. Hold on, let me this will take me a quarter of a second because I don't want to look stupid. Okay. Portland has, so Brooks Brannon has 20 RBIs in 17 games, and then Yohan Garcia has 13 RBIs in 16 games. So like they have multiple guys who are just driving in runs at an absurd rate. So Garcia is no longer part of the more RBIs than games played crew, but just like they have a lot more, like at the beginning of the year, I've said it multiple times, but it was like, it really felt like this offense might be Arias plus others. Now, to be fair, at the time, Brannon and Garcia were both hurt. So I technically wasn't really wrong at the time. But like those are two guys that came into the lineup and immediately took so much pressure off Arias, which is great because he is, I don't want to say scuffling, but like he hasn't hit a homer in the month of May yet. And like he did not have a great week. But yeah, there's a cap on how high Brooks Brannon's stock is going to get just because he is a power hitting first baseman. He's a right-handed hitting first baseman. Like people are only going to rank him so high because it's like, he's not going to give you speed. He's still going to strike out a decent amount. The glove's solid, but it's not like he's, going to become Matt Olson at first base. Like there's certain limitations there. And it's like, yeah, he does have absurd power, like genuine. If he had a 40 home run season, I don't think anybody would be like, oh my God, where did that come from? But like there's still limits to players like that. Like you're never going to see him on a top 100 list because that's reserved for 5-tool players. That's reserved for elite pitchers. That's reserved for catchers that like the only time you see a not 5-tool player on there is like a catcher because that's a special position. So like if Brannon was still a catcher, maybe he could sneak on there, but that doesn't mean he couldn't be very important to the Red Sox. And it's like, I feel like he's not going to get the respect he deserves from a lot of like the media because of that. But I hope that Red Sox fans get excited for him because I feel like that's kind of what happened to shout out old friend of the show, Blaze Jordan. That's kind of what happened with him for a while, where people weren't giving him the respect he deserved because he wasn't getting any love from the media because it was like, oh, he's a first baseman who hits for power and he's got a good glove, but that's it. And it's like, cool, he's hitting 320 and he's hitting a lot of bombs, but like they didn't seem to care. And it was like, soon the fans were like, wait a minute, this would be useful though. And like, obviously he's having a phenomenal year for the Cardinals AAA team right now. But I feel like the fans started to realize, no, this is useful. And I feel like that's where we're getting with Brooks Brannon, where fans are like, wait a minute, this guy's freaking crushing it right now in AA. And they're seeing the situation the Red Sox were in last year at first base, where it was like, man, there's nothing at this position right now. And obviously Wilson Contreras has been a godsend. He's been awesome, but it's like, he's 34. And it's like, how long is he realistically going to be the Red Sox first baseman? And when he's gone, again, they don't have anything at the position. And we'll talk about Justin Gonzales later. Like maybe he's the answer, but right now the closest to the majors might be Brooks Brannon at the position. So like, maybe he's the answer, who knows, but he's been phenomenal. It's been awesome to see. And he's been the best hitter in the month of May for Portland, which is absurd to say on a team that has Franklin Arias on it.
Yeah. So I closed out some of my tabs, kind of get to the TJ stats page. I was looking at Brooks Brannon, and yeah, some of the percentile rankings are wonky. He's got a 512 WOBA, which is 99th percentile. His walk rate is 88th percentile this year. His out of zone swing rate is 82nd percentile, so he's not chasing a ton. He doesn't swing a lot. It's one of the interesting things with him. Like, he draws so many walks, it's because he doesn't swing a lot. He's only 15th percentile in swing rate. But that's not, like, necessarily a bad thing.
Oh,
right?
yes.
You know, because his zone swing rate is 44th percentile, so he doesn't swing a ton. Because it's weird because your zone swing rate, his zone swing rate is 44th percentile. His out of zone swing rate is 82nd percentile. And 82nd percentile is good because it's a lower number, but how it's set is like swing rate, it's 15th percentile because it's a low swing rate, right? But it also kind of goes based on what pitches you're swinging at too, because if you're not swinging at anything in the zone and you're swinging at everything out of the zone, it doesn't matter how much or how little you swing, you're not going to be successful, right? So like, but like it doesn't like, so it's not like it's a bad thing, right? He's not like his whiff rate is only 27%, which is about average, right? It's nothing crazy, but it's also like for a guy who has the power he has, right, and the power potential, like you're not going to be upset at that at all, right? And so like stuff like that where it's like you can kind of see where like Brannon this year looks really, really good, and in past years not exactly the same, right? The walk rate wasn't the same last year when he was in Double-A.
Again, though, like I said, it feels like he was trying to make up for that lost time of, man,
Yep.
I've been injured a lot. And it's like you
Yep.
said, he's not
Being
swinging
overdosed.
a lot this year. And it's because he doesn't feel that pressure.
Yeah, his swing rate last year was 48%. This year it's down to 40%. Right? An 8% difference, which 8% doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a lot, right?
Yeah.
That 8% difference in swing rate takes him from 56th percentile, so swinging a little bit more than average, to 18th percentile, to being in that like 1/5 of players who swing the least, right? And that's allowing him to walk more. It's allowing him to see more pitches, and also when seeing more pitches, he's seeing more good pitches, right? So like it like there's that, right? And I think too, like, you know, this week was obviously a crazy week for Portland, which is funny. You know, Franklin Arias didn't really have like the craziest of weeks this week. You know, it happens, as we said. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't lose your minds, people. We try and focus on the positives mostly here, but I will point it out just because like he had a rough week, but like you have to remember with Franklin Arias, like, because like there are some people already clamoring, oh, Story's hurt, let's bring Franklin. Can we chill, people? Can we chill? I know I've said like, oh, like I did the Bogarts comp, and it's like Bogarts in his age 20 season starts in Double-A, then he gets up to Triple-A, and then makes his debut late in the year. That Red Sox team also led the league in wins that year. Well, tied for the league in wins with the Cardinals. And
are you telling me the Sox team's not as good?
Well, they're currently under 500, so
yeah, but they got to be close.
Anything can happen. Right? No, I've been one of the very few people that have been, hey, anything can happen. It's, you know, everyone says wait till Memorial Day to judge, and then even then, if it's something that they don't agree with, if a team overperforms what they think, and that Memorial Day comes and they're still performing that day, then they say, oh, well, wait till July 4th or wait till the All-Star break, right? So like I hate to use this comparison because it's a little bit of a sore spot for me as a Bruins fan. But like the 2019 St. Louis Blues were in last place in January, made a coaching change, and then went on to win the Stanley Cup. Like they were in last place, right? I'm not saying the Red Sox are going to somehow magically turn things around and go win the World Series. I'm not saying that. But weirder things have happened in the existence of mankind, right? Like it's not, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's not out of the question. But people already clamoring for Franklin Arias, it's too much, right? Let him have his good weeks with his bad weeks, right? You know, it's one of the things too where it's like, you know, it's one of the things too. It's like you can't, like, you're gonna learn more from mistakes or bad weeks than you are from good weeks, right? Because a lot of the times too, the most learning you're gonna do is when you struggle, right? You make an error at shortstop. Okay, how am I gonna, you know, get better from that, right? You get, especially if you have the right mentality, you can really kind of make your struggles into learning chances It's opportunities for you to learn, right? You know, he had like, and that's part of the reason I bring it up. Like, Arias, gonna have his bad week still. Like, yeah, he went 3 for 19 this week. He still drew 4 walks, still stole 2 bases, right? That's one of the things too. It's big to see for him in this bad week. He still drew 4 walks, had an on base percentage over 300, right? That it's stuff like that where it's like, yeah, let him have his bad week still in Double A. If you bump him up to the big leagues now, yeah, he's gonna be overmatched, right? He might have a good week here and there, but odds are he's just gonna be overmatched. There's a reason there's player development. Doesn't happen overnight. If it happened overnight, you wouldn't need player development. Just snap your fingers and boom, full potential, right? Like there's a reason, there's a process, and part of that process is having the bad weeks, right?
Yeah.
I think it's important to mention that because we very much too, we try and only focus on the guys who have good weeks because it is important. But like in some ways too, it also is important to recognize like, hey, Arias didn't have the best week. He still drew 4 walks. He only struck out 5 times, right? Because, you know, Portland had a really good week this week. Marvin Alcantara, Brooks Brannon, and Tyler McDonough all had 2 homers. Miguel Blaze had a homer, and he had 6 hits.
Did Marvin Alcantara hit 2 homers, though? Did he? Both of his home runs, the broadcast crapped out on, and it was just a black screen. I'm calling conspiracy theory. He now has a career-high 4 home runs. I don't think either homer happened. I don't know why. I don't know why big baseball wants us to believe that Marvin Alcantara is becoming a power hitter all of a sudden, but it's all lies. I'm putting on the tinfoil hat for this one.
I don't know about that one.
Want us to believe that Marvin Alcantara is becoming a power hitter. I'm not falling for it. Nope.
Regardless, Miguel Blaze had a homer. Max Ferguson had a homer. Johan Fran Garcia
Don't try
had
to
a homer.
silence me, Derek.
Abram Liendo had a homer. Will Turner had a homer.
You sicken me.
Nate Baez went 4 for 11 this week with
you're
3
part
doubles
of it, aren't you? You're part
and
of it.
2 walks. No, I'm not part of it.
Sounds like you're part of it.
No, well, hey, I'm not arguing against it.
Seems like you are.
But
I want it on the record that Derek tried to silence me.
But why would they? What's the point of faking a Double-A stat line?
I don't know, man.
Also, too, you don't think the coaching staff would, eventually say something, or one of the other players would say something?
They've all been.
What about the pitcher that has
blackmailed?
Hold on. What about the pitcher that gave up the homers though? They wouldn't want that on their record.
He's been compromised.
That could be the difference.
Agents.
Hey, that could be the difference between them getting the call up from Double-A to Triple-A or not.
Maybe he's not a real person.
And then that could be the difference between them getting to the big leagues or not. Maybe if they don't get that chance on AAA, who knows what happens?
I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you.
But no, it's one of the. It was a very good week in AA this week in Portland for the position players.
So Miguel Blaze snapped a 7-game hitting streak, and then his next game he hit the homer. I feel like we go through this with Blaze every year, where it's like he starts off really, really slow, and then everybody's like, "Man, I think it's time to pull the plug on Miguel Blaze," and then he goes nuts for a little bit, and everybody's like, "Miguel Blaze is back," and then it's just like, I think this is just what we're gonna deal with, and it's like by the end of the year, it's gonna be the same thing where it's like you can't really give up on him, and it's like we just have to hope that it all comes together, because again, we say this with him, we say it with Nazan Zanatello. It's like it's so clear that the talent is insane. We just need it to click, and with him, it's not as rough as it is with Zanatello. Like with Blaze, it's more polished, which maybe makes it more frustrating. But it's just like, I don't know. It's just where we see him go through like these long stretches of really, really good play. And then, but it's just like the first month of the season was so rough, and it's good to see him getting hot. And it's like, hopefully with the weather heating up and everything, maybe he'll have a nice long stretch, and maybe in a month we'll be talking about like, man, is Miguel Blaze ready for AAA? Because 2 years ago, he was like the guy that everybody was the most excited about. So I don't know. I still want to believe.
I will just bump back on the Marvin Alcantara thing where he has 3 homers in his last 7 games, but the most recent one came against a guy with an ERA over 10. The first one came with a guy with an ERA over 8, and the second one.
Now you're starting to feel like it's a conspiracy.
No, the second one came against a guy with a 3.89 ERA, but he gave up 3 homers in that game. Maybe it's just maybe part of it is also the pitching he's going up.
Yeah, maybe the pitching is just terrible, but I mean,
Marvin
Alcantara also.
Hold on. Hold on, though.
I don't want to discredit him. I'm clearly joking, but
I know. Oh no, I know. But a 10.91 ERA, bro.
That's rough, man.
In 15 innings, bro. How many runs have you given up, dude? I was giving up 19 earned in 15 2/3 innings. He's given up 7 homers. Oh my gosh.
That's ugly. Yoanfran Garcia 5 for 16 with a homer this week. He's hitting just 215, but he's got a 462 slugging percentage. Like I mentioned earlier, 13 RBI in 16 games. Strikeouts have been a serious issue, but he has hit the living piss out of baseballs all year. He's gotten pretty unlucky. I'm still heavily on the Yoanfran Garcia train. I still think he's the best catching prospect in the system. I know some people have said he hasn't looked as good catching wise since coming back from the injury. I guess I'd agree, but like I think he's looked better this year. I thought he looked surprisingly solid last year. Like again, yeah, maybe worse than he did, but like I think he looks like he's in better shape this year, and I think he's looked good. I think he's made some like very athletic plays behind the plate. So like there's no reason to believe he's not going to continue to improve. He seems like the kind of guy that's going to continue to work on himself. So he's still very young. There's no reason to believe he's not going to get better. And then Nate Baez, 4 for 11, 2 walks, 3 doubles, 250, 383, 452 slash, 9 doubles, 4 homers. He struggled at throwing people out this year, but clearly has a good bat. He's pretty athletic. He's been solid so far. I forget who it was, but somebody was like, man, the Red Sox traded Tristan Gray for Nate Baez, and then they signed IKF, and Tristan Gray has like a 87 OPS plus, and IKF has a 20 OPS plus. Imagine if the Red Sox didn't do that. And I was like, they'd have like one more win. I'd rather have Nate Baez and IKF because they're just gonna DFA him at some point anyway, and Tristan Gray really wouldn't be doing much for him. Like I'd rather have the asset of Nate Baez, and either way, that would be an open 40-man roster spot by June anyway. So that's not a big issue to me.
Yeah, it's funny. I was just doing some digging because I was curious. Nothing like specific, but I was trying to look through like Miguel Blaze's game logs just to see if like I can try to like pinpoint years, but the unfortunate thing is I like his like hot streaks and not. The unfortunate thing was I was trying to look through his game logs on MiLB.com, and that is like one of the worst sites ever to try and look through someone's game logs.
Yeah.
So unfortunately nothing came out of it. Thanks. It would be so nice if they could make it to when you click on a player's name on MiLB.com, if it just sent you to their like baseball reference page.
I will tell you this. Last year and 2 years ago, his best month was June. His best month was May. So maybe he has another good May. Oh, someone just made an absurd play. Nick Sogard just made an absurd play at third. Hell yeah, Nick Sogard. But yeah, so maybe Miguel Blaze just continues and has another big month of May. And then maybe he continues it and has a big month of June because he has not had great Junes. Yeah,
maybe. Yeah, he's such an he's also interesting. Blaze is interesting also too. Was it last year? No, the year before. I think wasn't it the year before last year when he had like whole like pop-up issue?
It's
was
been
like a
every
whole.
year.
I remember. Well, it's been pretty much every, but like when it first really like popped up, and it was like
2024 was when
it was like,
I think
oh,
when
like
it first was like this is an issue.
yeah. So for the record, this year, so 24 in 2024, his infield fly ball rate was 41.5%, which is crazy. Last year was 36.5%. This year it's 33.5%. It's going down a little bit, but like
I mean, yeah, it's better.
this is
trending in the
better.
right
I mean,
direction.
it's still not good. The one interesting thing for him this year, though, is he's not hitting as many fly balls. So even though he's still popping up a lot of the balls that he hits for fly balls in the infield, he's hitting way less fly balls this year. Last year his fly ball rate was 45%. This year it's 31%. Right.
I wonder if.
So if we kind of.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, so like if we kind of calculate it to where like, you know, out of like 100 at bats, right? He hits, you know, let's say out of 100 bats, his fly ball rate's 45%. He hits 45 fly balls, you know, in 100 at bats. Out of those 45 fly balls, 36% of them, you know, were infield fly balls. So basically like a third, more than a third of them, right? So out of those, I may actually do some math here. So it would basically be about 16 to 17 out of every 100 balls he hit were infield fly balls.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas this year it's different because although the infield fly ball rate is similar, dropped a tiny little bit, he's hitting a lot less fly balls. Right? So I wonder if that makes, because now it's only like 10 fly balls per 100 balls that he hits that are infield, that are like, or 10 balls that he hits per 100 that are like infield fly balls, which makes a difference. Right? Like it does make a difference. And his line drive rate's up a little bit. His ground ball rate has kind of taken a jump up, but it's not the worst thing in the world. It's 48%. It's not like he's still under 50%, and with his speed, like it's not the end of the world. It's not like he's going to be thrown out in all of them. There are some of those ground balls that he's going to be able to beat out. And its pull air rate this year is 70th percentile. So I mean, that's helpful. So I would say that overall, like so far this year for Blaze, it does feel like there's a little bit of a change.
Yeah.
A little bit. Not a ton, but like it feels like there might be enough to where maybe it does make a difference if it stays over like the course of the year.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's a like a swing path change, and it's probably resulted in him putting the ball on the ground more. But I mean, if it's getting him to pop the ball up less, maybe they continue to tweak it and it gets to more line drives, and then that's like the sweet spot of, hey, now the pop-ups are happening less, but also now you're, just hitting a crap ton of doubles.
Yeah.
Sweet. Like that's
yeah, and I mean, you look like this year, like his contact rate's about the same as it's always been. His swing rate's about the same as it always has been. Right? So it's nothing like great. So far this year, his first pitch strike rate's higher, so we're seeing more first pitch strikes, but that's a small enough sample size where I don't think you can really judge that yet.
Yeah.
And like he's not really swinging and missing as much. His swing strike rate is about the same as it's always been. It's right around there. So like there's not a ton of changes in that. The biggest thing this year, he's very slightly not pulling the ball as much, but he's going to center field more. Right? And so you kind of start putting those things together. His he's only a 262 BABIP, but it's about where it was last year. Last year was 266, which obviously those kind of pop-ups will play a role in them. This year, like I said, he's hitting more ground balls, so they get him to hit more liners. I think maybe they do find a sweet spot there, like you mentioned.
And then I did actually have two pitchers to talk about for Portland, surprisingly. Patrick Halligan has not had a great year, but he was phenomenal this week. He made a relief appearance and then a start and he threw combined in the two 6 scoreless and hitless innings, 8 strikeouts, 1 walk. He has a 5.7 ERA on the year, but I mean that certainly makes a massive difference. 34 strikeouts compared to 11 walks and 23 and 2/3 innings. And then Blake Wehunt, easily his best start of the year this week. 3 1/3 innings, 3 hits, season high 7 strikeouts, walk just 1, ERA down to 6.17. He's really struggled this year, but this was massive for him. He's a massive dude, can pump it up to like 99. He's someone that every year it feels like people are excited about, and then just like the last 2-3 seasons, injuries have cropped up and everything just keeps kind of bad luck keeps happening to him. So, and I mean, he's already dealt with that this year. I think literally his first start of the year, he pitched 1 inning and then got hurt. So like maybe this is the start of something to kind of turn his season around, because he's, again, like I said, he's someone that every year it seems like people that hear stuff from the organization, people within the organization, everybody's like, man, like teammates, people are like, man, Blake Wehunt, he's something. So this was very encouraging to see.
Yeah, I think that too. Like it's it's early in the year still. It's one of those things where you might have like Wehunt obviously hasn't had the best start to the year, but it's also not like. It's not like too absurd in terms of a guy can have a bad start to the year. Like it's one of those things where like if like the rough stretch happened like smack in the middle of the season when you really should be kind of or closer to the end where maybe you should be peaking. Okay, like, but like if it's like especially early year struggles, it's one of the things where it's like give it some time. And like
and it just makes the numbers look worse. It's like what we said with Kyson Witherspoon, where it's like, yeah, the numbers look bad because he's thrown 25 innings. So like 2 good starts, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, he's got a 3 ERA. Like
exactly,
it happens.
Exactly. I will mention Holobet's had a good outing out of the bullpen. He followed up. It was Danny Cullum, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was Cullum. I was I remember seeing that he was set to be their starter. Holobet's 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 4 strikeouts, just the 2 walks. It's been a little bit of a weird start to the year for Holobet's. Just in terms, like it's been a little bit up and down.
Yeah, he was so good for the first like 4 starts, and then he had, and I'm sure he would tell you this himself, 2 of probably his worst starts of his career in a row, and then he was good and then really good this week.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things where like his first 3 starts were really good. His 4th start, he went 6 innings. He did give up 4. Like it wasn't bad, but it wasn't like crazy. Then obviously he had the unfortunate start against Somerset, and then the ref won against New Hampshire. But like coming back against Hartford this week with the 5 innings, like is really weird. Just because like overall it's a 4.83 ERA, but it really is 2 starts that like make it look really bad. Like it's one of those things where it happens more so to relievers and starters. But like all it takes, like Garrett Crochet, like we mentioned on this show, like with how like numbers can be inflated by like one bad appearance for a pitcher, where it's like we mentioned it, where it's like the comparison that I used was Garrett Crochet ain't winning no Cy Young this year. Obviously not. He's injured. He's on the injured list. It's probably not going to happen anyways. Definitely, but like it was like okay, no matter what he does the rest of this year, he's going to not win the Cy Young, right? Like it's not going to happen, And it's one like I always go to Aaron Bummer, his last year with the White Sox before they traded him, because I wanted him on the Red Sox, and people were like, and there are people it's like the guy's got a 7 ERA, blah blah blah. And it's like he's got a sub-3 FIP,
Yeah.
Like you realize that he had like 3 blow-up appearances, maybe 4, and the rest of his appearances he was nails. Like it's a sad life of a reliever. But 2, it also shows how 1 or 2 bad appearances throughout a year can just kind of make your box score numbers look worse.
Yeah.
I go back to the Hyunjin Ryu year where I thought he should have won the Cy Young, but like he had a couple bad starts in August that just killed any chance he had of winning it, right?
Yeah,
Because
you want to.
he had like a one. He had like a 150 ERA, and he ended up with like a still like a. I think he still had like a sub 2 ERA at the end of the year, even. But DeGrom beat him out for it.
If
And
you
a lot
want
of
to
the
know
reasons-
how good Holobets has been outside of those 3 appearances, I guess, if you want to count the one. So it was 6 innings, 8 hits, 4 runs, 3 2/3, 9 hits, 10 runs, 7 earned, 1 inning, 5 hits, 5 runs, 3 earned. And he's only made 7 appearances this year. And even with that, he has a 4.83 ERA, a 2.52 batting average against, and a 1.36 WHIP. Like in 31 innings. Like that's how good he's been this year. Is those 2 miserable outings and 1 outing, and he still has like solid numbers. Like that's incredible. Like because the first. Like his first start was 5 shutout innings, then it was 4 innings, 1 run, then it was 7 innings, 1 hit, 1 run. Like he was phenomenal those first 3 outings, and then obviously this outing it was 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 run. So like he's been fantastic outside of those two appearances. So it'll take some time for him to like really get the numbers back to being elite, but I believe he will. And again, it's nice that the organization isn't gonna like the organization's not box score watching. But yeah, because they won't be looking at it and be like, oh man, he's got a 4.8 ERA. We can't have that. Because that's how some fans will look at it. They'll be like, what does this guy do? Why are we promoting this guy? But yeah, he's been as of right now, he has been so much better than those numbers look, because like even I was at the Somerset game, and like a lot of the people in the press box were like, man, they're really just letting this guy go out there and die, huh? And it was like, obviously they don't know this, but he's someone that they are comfortable giving, 85 pitches. And that's kind of like the plan with him is go out there and get your 80 to 85 pitches. And obviously it meant him going out there and giving up a lot of hits, sadly, that day. But they also, we've talked about it on here a lot, the Red Sox have very strict, like, hey, these 2 or 3 pitchers are pitching today. So it was like, man, you got to try to go and get as many outs as possible because we only have 3 pitchers today. And they didn't have Drew Earhart anymore at that point. So we're going to have to figure something out. Massa just threw someone out at the plate. That's incredible. He made a very bad play in the field before that, but yeah, so rough couple outings. Good to see him bounce back because he's been, for the most part, fantastic since coming over here in a trade last year.
Yeah, no, definitely. I do want to kind of jump back because I realize we've been bouncing around, but we haven't touched on Jack Winnay.
Well, I don't even think we got to Greenville at all yet. Really,
well, we touched on like Justin Gonzales and well, no, we haven't really touched on Greenville a ton, but I mean we touched on Justin Gonzales though.
Not
and we
really.
touched on
We touched on Witherspoon, but I think we
touched on the
mentioned
pitching.
Gonzales, but we didn't even
we didn't like really talk about his week this week. We've touched on him though, but I think we definitely should talk about Winnay just because this week was really big for him.
Yeah.
Just like Justin Gonzales had a big week, but like Winnay's was a little bit different in the sense of like it really made his stat line look a lot better this week.
Yeah.
So this week Winnay went 8 for 16 with a double, 3 homers, 6 RBIs, and 7 walks. His slash line for the week was 500, 652, and 11 with an 1125 slugging for a 1777 OPS. One less than it would have been the year of the American Revolution, but it's just missed 1776. Just missed it. But heading into this week, so I will mention the one thing I really like with Winnay is the fact that he gets on base a ton, and this is going to kind of prove my point here. His numbers before this week, where it was 198, 378, 292 was a slash line. After this week, 241, 420, 411. Right? And it does show that, like, even though he's hitting sub 200, he was still getting on base almost 40% of the time. Like, there's a value there. And you also, too, you want to kind of go into, like, just even, like, back it up a little bit further. Like, he was hitting on May 5th, he was down to 177 average. Now he's up to 241, right? And that's what, like a 2-week span? I think it'll be a 2-week span as of tomorrow on the 19th. So I think when you kind of look at the last really 2 weeks, but especially the last week plus the last game of the previous series, because he also hit a homer then against Greensboro. But like, it's not just been a number, like the numbers changing. It does kind of show a little bit too to like the process where for someone like him, even when the bat is like struggling, when he's struggling to find those hits, he still leaves an impact because he's getting on base. Right. And I think that is something that is so important. And, you know, sometimes we touch on it, sometimes we don't. And it's not like Winnay is going to go out to get on base and steal you a bunch of bases, but like it's still valuable to be able to get on base. It's one of the things that Luis Arraez has been knocked for so much is he might be able to hit 330, but he doesn't get on base, even though he does hit 330. And everyone looks at like the old school lens of Luis Arraez is he's amazing. He hits, 330 and whatnot. But like even this year where Arraez is playing amazing, he's hitting 328, but he's only got a 370 on base. Right? Like the year he hit 354, he still only had a 393 on base, which is good, but if Aaron Judge were to hit 354, he'd probably have a 790 on base percentage, right? Because teams would, it's the extreme comparison, but look at Barry Bonds, right? It's the extreme of the extreme when it comes to getting on base. But teams were so petrified of Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds could have been in an 0 for 20 slump, and they still would have intentionally walked him.
Yeah, because Barry Bonds could be in an 0 for 20 slump and still have like a 600 on base percentage.
Yes, that's what's so crazy about it, right? And then because like you look at Winnay's numbers, like I said, like over the year, 241 is it like it's not it's like league average, batting average, the big leagues is like 240, 245, whatever, right? But like if you're like I don't care if you hit 240 if you have a 420 on base percentage. I don't care. Right? Obviously, like, yeah, like if he was hitting 260, 270 and that on base bumped up to close to the 500, like that'd be amazing, right? It's like Braden Ward, right? You had him on the show, but like one of the things for him is like his ability to get on base, right? And he does it a little bit more through like hit by pitches instead of just like pure walks. But like it's a decision he makes to stand up on that plate and be willing to take a pitch. Yeah. That, it might hurt when it hits him, but you know what? Like, he's still got a 445 on base this year, even though he's hitting 259, right? And that's what brings so much value for him because he can get on base. And you look at Jack Winnay, and I feel like it's obviously it's not like the same because like he's not going to be the same on the base paths, but like that ability to get on base brings so much value, especially because he's got a 21% walk rate this year. Like, it's really, really good. Funnily enough, his weighted runs created plus is now 124, which I find hilarious. I find that absolutely hilarious. But it's one of those things where you can still bring value to a team even when you're struggling. And when you do have a week like this that he had, makes it all the more better. Because not only did he have 3 homers, the guy got on base how many times? Like, what, 8 hits and 7 walks 15 times in 5 games?
Yeah, his last 2 games, his last 3 games, because his third to last game, he went 0 for 1 with 3 walks. So his last 3 games, he went, 5 for 8 with 6 walks. Like, that's absurd. That's bananas. He Yeah, he was someone when I did my beginning of the year predictions, and I did like one prediction for one hitter and one prediction for one pitcher at every level. And I'm not going to go through all of them, especially because I don't look smart on some of them at specific levels. But he was one where now at the time I thought he was going to start in Salem, but I said 15 plus homers. He started the year slow. I really wasn't that worried, and now I'm feeling really good about it. He's up to 5, and it feels like he might fly through that number because like the power is very clearly there. He's getting hot. And even when he like you said, even when he wasn't hitting, he was getting on base. He was doing things that helped. He was hitting the ball hard. Like he's got more walks than strikeouts this year. Like there was never this like, man, they got to get him out of the lineup fear. Like, oh man, he's doing nothing to help the team. He was playing a good third base. So it was never like this fear of he's doing absolutely nothing. It also helped that he was playing good for them. That he played good last year too, but Wilson Contreras just pissed on a baseball, sweet 2-0. Winnay,
I love how Hunter says this stuff, and my feed is like legitimately 30 seconds behind his, if not more. Literally, Wilson Contreras just saw the first pitch of the at bat. Like I'm probably like a minute behind Hunter. I mean, I don't mind. I find it funny because then it at least saves me from having to like watch the game. Because as soon as Hunter says something, I know to look.
My issue is I get myself off track with it. Like I was on a roll, and then I'm like, oh wait. But yeah, he always kept himself in a position to get hot. Like he was always doing all the little things right, where it was like he was giving himself a chance to correct the things that weren't working for him. And like now the things have corrected themselves, and like everything went right for him this week, basically. Like, I mean, you kind of already touched on everything, but he hit 500 this week, a double, 3 homers. He walked more times than he struck out. Like it really not much else you could ask for. I thought Massa just got one. And I do just want to quickly throw to a pitcher because there are a couple hitters I want to touch on, and I feel like there's literally one pitcher to talk about, so I just want to throw to him because the rest of it's going to be hitters. But Steven Brooks, 3 strikeouts and 2 perfect innings in his lone outing of the week. Greenville did not have a good week this week. They salvaged it by winning the last game of the series, and even that one, they were up. I think it was like 11-1, and then it was 12-3, and they ended up winning 12-10. Pitching just didn't have it this week. Brooks has had a really good year, though. 2.89 ERA, 175 batting average against, 1.5 whip, 10 appearances, 31 strikeouts compared to 17 walks in 18 2/3 innings. For how exciting they've been, like all the talk about like, oh man, the pitching staff's so cool. They have this awesome lineup. They're 15-24, which just doesn't make sense to me. Like it's hard to compute.
Do we? I think we brought it up. I brought it up a couple weeks ago. They were like 13-14 or something, or 13-15 or something like that.
Yeah, and they haven't won games. Like like I said, they won 1 game this week. And it's just like, and what's crazy is a lot of guys have gotten hot since then. Like we just talked about Jack Winnay getting hot. Yoelan Cespedes has stayed hot. Yoferi Rodriguez has cooled off. He hit 1 homer this week, which gave him, he was the first player in the organization to get to 10 homers. Wilson Contreras just hit his 10th. But so like Rodriguez was the first player in the entire organization to get to 10, which is wild considering his career high before that was 7. I think he hit like 5 all of last year.
It's also more impressive too when you consider that the season starts a little bit later too.
Yeah.
Considering like, the big league team gets like a whole like week head start.
And like that was something me and Jordan talked about last week, was like we're not trying to be the biggest drive line guys in the world, but clearly something's working there. But like Yoelan Cespedes has been good all year. Justin Gonzales has been good all year. Like it's not like a lot of these guys have cooled off. But then it's like we talked about, you know, a lot of the pitchers have struggled. Anthony Ianson was phenomenal. Now he's gone, but it's kind of, you know, the minor leagues are weird, man. And then you throw in the fact that like you get to the extra innings and now you got position players pitching and things get wonky.
And runners on second base too.
Yeah.
Just doubly make it bad.
Yeah, and as we know, the Red Sox, the major league team's bad at that. So as you'd imagine, the minor league teams probably aren't going to be great at it either. So it's just funny that like the team that is like quote unquote the most exciting team in the organization also doesn't have a great record. But that's what's great about the minor leagues is no one cares about the record. Like, oh, they lost. Cool. Justin Gonzales hit a 900-foot homer. But then
I think
outside
you're selling
of
them short with 900, man. I think you're selling them a little bit short.
Outside of Winnay, Antonio Anderson, second straight big week. So at the start of May, like when like April 31st or whatever the last day April is, he was slashing 98, 235, 122. Today, he is slashing 214, 313, 314. Still not great, but like that is a ridiculous jump for 18 days. He's got 2 doubles, a triple, a homer, 10 RBI, 9 runs. He looks a gazillion times more comfortable at the plate. It's again a case of just like it almost feels like at the start of the year he thought he was like losing his job or something, and he was it's like I said with Brooks Brannon, where it was like last year you felt like he was pressing and he was like, man, I was injured and I have to make up for lost time. And it's like that's what it felt like with Antonio Anderson. It felt like every at bat he felt like he was going to lose it. And maybe it was like PTSD from last year where they were pinch hitting him every time a lefty came up. Like he would start a game that a righty was in, and then even if it was like the 4th inning, if a lefty came in, they were like, all right, you're out of the game and we're putting Big Al in. And it was like maybe he had like PTSD from that, and he was like, I got to hit a homer this at bat, because his at bats were just, they weren't good. And he has looked so much better at the plate, which is phenomenal to see. And then I don't think Justin Gonzales is a real person. I'm going to need like confirmation on that. 10 for 21, 2 doubles, a triple, a homer. Played first base for the first time since 2024. I thought he looked more than fine there. I saw some people criticizing that he like overplayed that ground ball. Like he got in front of Mason White, which like, yeah, he absolutely did. He overranged on that, but I don't think that means he's uncomfortable. People overrange it. That was a big thing with Devers.
He also he hasn't played first base in a while though too. You also have to remember that too.
Yeah, since 2024. But like that was a big thing with Devers and Bogarts. Devers would always overrange, and then Bogarts would like look at him funny. And it's just like everyone thinks that they can get to every ball. That's just like if you've ever played any level of competitive baseball, you think that it's your ball until you don't get to it, and then you're like, oh, I guess that wasn't my ball.
Yeah, see, it's always been one of the things I've always been like, you know what? Why don't you just put your first baseman as far to the right as they can go, especially against a right-handed hitter, and then literally anything to their right, the second baseman's ball, anything to the left, you go get. But then the issue is they're not going to listen to it, and they're still going to go to the right.
Yeah.
Right? Like. And then against a left-handed hitter, you're screwed because if you play him off the line, all it takes is a liner down the line, and then especially with 6'7" Justin Gonzales there, it turns instead of being a line out right into his glove, it's a double or triple down the line.
And he looked good, and I get it, and I kind of want him at first base because I think it would be better for his body. And I think it would be great for the Red Sox to just have this monster of a human at first base for the next 20 years. But then it's like he played the outfield the next 2 games, and he made 2 of the best throws I've ever seen. Just like the most perfect, like, because it's not that he just has an arm where he's throwing 108 mile an hour perfect like throws. He's also putting it as on the money as you could possibly make it. And it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know where I want him. Do I want him in right, or do I want him at first? Because like
the only thing is that with how Wilyer Brady's playing right field, I don't think anyone's touching right field for a while for the Reds.
Yeah, that's
the other caveat. Like it's the caveat with like them playing Christian Campbell in the outfield in Worcester. It's like, well, he's never going to play center field. Like he's not going to play right field. Like what, you're going to move Wilyer Brady off of right field? You're going to move Sadon off of center? Like no. like that. Like so, like for Justin Gonzales, I almost would like to see him in left field, right? Just because of because if he can play first and both
Well, are you
corners,
moving
like
Roman?
no. But I mean, like if I had to pick an outfield spot, right? Because also too, like the bigger body, right, at Fenway especially, like if you're thinking at Fenway, where you play half your home games if you're the Red Sox, that's a big right field to cover. There's a lot of, especially for someone who's 6'7", it's a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah.
Whereas left field isn't as demanding in terms of ground that has to be covered. That's why too, that's more so why I say I'd like to see him in left field, just on the sense of if he's someone who can play first, occasionally get a game here and there in left, right? I think that's an interesting development for Justin Gonzales, right? Because yeah, the arm absolutely would play in right field, but doesn't mean it wouldn't play in left field either. I think it's one of the myths of left field where it's you have to put your hard throwing guy in right field. Left field, he loses value. It's but then everyone was complaining about Roman Anthony earlier this year and his throwing, right? And it's I thought throwing in left field didn't matter. I thought you could just stick anyone over there, right? I thought you just always stuck your best arm in right field because it doesn't matter as much in left field, right? Oh, the throw's not as long, but yeah, it still matters, right? Also, too, the arms in an outfield, just between Roman, Sadon, and Willier already, the Red Sox have a stupid amount of arms, and then you just add a 6'7" dude throwing lasers to that mix. Yeah, good luck.
And then I do want to say on the so he also hit a monster home run off so the guy had a 1 ERA, hadn't given up a homer yet, did not get hit hard, got hit hard by Justin Gonzales. Took his sweet time rounding the bases, which he always does. He always takes very long when he gets to third base. He does a whole stutter stop thing. And one of the things I love about Liam Carroll is he lets his guys have fun. I think he recognizes that a lot of these guys are, 19, 20, 21 years old. And a lot of these guys, not Justin Gonzales, but a lot of these other guys might not make the majors. And it's hey, let them have fun. Bowling Green clearly was not a big fan of this, and 3 pitches into the next at bat, the pitcher threw behind Hudson White. Both teams got a warning from the umpires. Liam Carroll immediately ran to the Bowling Green dugout and had words with the manager. Shout out Liam Carroll.
Well, they're not throwing at Justin Gonzales because
that was my issue. One, just don't give up a homer, man.
Yeah,
you got demolished by Justin Gonzales.
Well, also too, if you're gonna throw at someone for something, why? If you really gonna stoop that low, why aren't you throwing at the guy who did it?
That's what I mean. Have the balls to throw at Justin Gonzales. I know you
come
don't
on,
because
man.
He's a mammoth of a human being, but have the balls to throw it to Justin Gonzales. I know you won't because you're terrified of him, but come on, man. Hudson White didn't do anything to you.
Wasn't it Tyreek Reed?
Yeah. Yep.
Just
that was. I still don't understand that one. He hit Tyreek Reed, and Tyreek Reed was walking down the line, wasn't? Yes. And the guy was yelling at him, and I remember asking about it, and apparently the guy was claiming that Tyreek Reed was hugging the plate or something, and I still didn't get the whole story. And Tyreek Reed flipped out, and everyone said he must have said something bad to Tyreek Reed because everybody was he's the nicest dude in the world, so he had to have said something bad to Tyreek Reed. And yeah, he got hit very hard by Tyreek Reed, and then randomly he tried to attack David Hamilton, and he I don't want to say he tore his ACL, but he got very hurt trying to attack David Hamilton. And it was dude, you've lost.
This is also kind of funny. If you're going to be that much of a bitch,
he was also 29 years old. Yeah. It was man, you're in AA. You're losing 2 fights. You're old. What are you doing?
Bro, go get that finance job or something. Come on. Also, a real quick shout out. I was just scrolling through Twitter and whatnot. Shout out old friend of the show, CT, he's doing real estate in LA.
Yeah.
Shout out. I was just scrolling and I saw that. I'm oh, I'm hey, good for him. as Connor Wong just actually did something shockingly. For once, I am shocked. Okay, not because I actually have the distinct privilege of getting to see the Connor Wong MLB debut game, and by that it was actually the debut of someone else, but it's someone else who was kind of crappy for the Rays, and by crappy I mean a terrible person. And
Took me a moment, but
yeah, I didn't even go because it was that I already had the tickets, and just so happened the Rays called him up that day. One of the most fun like Red Sox Rays games I've went to because like there were actually people there that were Rays fans.
I mean, yeah, the buzz was probably absurd.
Yeah. Oh, it was so much.
Someone pointed out like the Rays' bad luck with shortstop prospects over the last like 20 years, and it was just like, dude, like,
hey, at least they got that one good year from Jason Bartlett in like 2013. At least there's that. But they who was it? No, so that game ended up that game. I think McClanahan was it McClanahan pitched for the Rays that game? I think it was because I'm pretty sure he went like 6 innings. He only gave up 3 runs, but all 3 of those runs were in the same inning. Because I remember I saw McClanahan pitch twice that year, and in both games he had like 1 inning where he gave up 2 or 3 runs, and outside of that he was like lights out. And I remember being like, yeah, if he can figure out that 1 inning, he's gonna be like a Cy Young candidate. And then the next year that happened until he kind of faded at the end of the year. But the Connor Wong actually he didn't start the game. Eduardo Rodriguez was pitching for the Red Sox. So the last out of the 9th inning was JD Martinez. And so to start the top of the 10th, the Red Sox, instead of having JD Martinez in his DH spot run, they had Connor Wong pinch run for JD Martinez, and that was Connor Wong's MLB debut. No plate appearances, no appearance in the field, but he scored a run. And the Red Sox scored 4, I think, in that 10th inning. And I think they won. I think it was 9-5 was the final score. But I got to see Connor Wong's MLB debut. It's a fun one, an interesting one. A real interesting one there. I got to see Connor Wong's MLB debut.
Connor Wong being in the league longer than Wander Franco. It's a very funny stat.
That is actually hilarious. Yeah, they both made their debut on the same day. Albeit, I think Wong might have been called up like the day before or something like that. So, like, in all honesty,
like if you went to that game and were like arguing with a Rays fan of like who's gonna have the better career,
oh no,
that you would have gotten laughed out of the room. And like,
probably. But I mean, hey, it worked out for Connor Wong, I guess. I guess it did. Let's see. He was called up. When was he called up? Oh my gosh, I got to really scroll. It was June 22nd. He was called up. I don't know if that was the day of the game or not. I actually can look this up real quick because it's saved in my MLB Ballpark app. What? Yeah, 21. Oh my gosh, it's gonna make me log in again. Gosh darn it! What is the MLB app? All the MLB apps just don't like me. There's always something.
This is a bad, not a bad game because it's still only 3 runs, but this is a bad game to mention it. But I feel like I'm seeing a lot of Red Sox fans get excited about Justin Gonzales, but then like also be wary of like, man, we got excited about Christian Campbell and we got excited about Roman Anthony and he's struggled. And it's like, all right, he's 22 years old. Let's relax. Like he's been fine. He has an 804 career OPS. But it's just like, man, what Justin Gonzales is doing is freakish. And it's fine to get excited. Like the Red Sox offense is so putrid, and he's not going to save the Red Sox in 2026. He's not going to. He'll be in Double-A by then. He'll be in Double-A soon, hopefully. But That's probably where he'll end the year. Maybe he gets like a week in AAA at the end of the year. But 2027 is a realistic possibility for Justin Gonzales, like mid to late season call up. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see where he plays. I'm intrigued to see how much first base we see. It's interesting because I feel like that just kind of came out of nowhere. Like there was no reports of like Justin Gonzales getting work at first base again. It was just, the lineup card came out and it was, oh, Justin Gonzales is playing first base tonight. So I'm intrigued to see how often he plays there this year, the rest of the way. But yeah, maybe, right now Wilson Contreras has been one of the better offensive players for the Red Sox in 2026. So he hasn't been the problem. He's not the one that needs replacing or anything, but Justin Gonzales inserted into this lineup in some way at some point in 2027, I think could be a very fun addition. But also if that doesn't happen, it's not crazy. He doesn't turn 20 until December 31st of this year, which means he doesn't turn 21 until after the season next year. It's not crazy to think that he's not playing in the major leagues next year either. And if he doesn't, that doesn't mean anything's wrong. It doesn't mean the Red Sox aren't being aggressive enough or that he's not good enough or whatever. I still think that he is someone that will save the Red Sox at some point. But also, I don't like the fact that I'm using the word save because I feel like that is something that Red Sox fans do too often. We've seen it with Franklin Arias. We've seen it with Roman Anthony, where Red Sox fans, I've seen it this year, where Red Sox fans have said, like, can we, you mentioned it earlier, where it's like, now that Trevor Story's down, can we get Franklin Arias up here to save the offense? And it's like, man, we can't be having this 21-year-old get called up from AA and ask him to save the offense. It's like, you get mad at us and the Sox prospects guys and whoever else for getting you excited about these prospects, and then you're the ones that are putting these expectations on them to come up and save the team. And it's like, you can't be expecting these guys to do that. And I'm sure they're not looking into that too much, but I can't imagine they're not seeing it a little bit. And whether it's getting in their head in a negative way of them being like nervous about it, or whether it's getting in their head in an egotistical way, I'm sure it's getting in their head in some way and affecting them and affecting their play. And I'd just rather it be like, you can get excited and you can get fired up and you can think, hey, this guy's the future. And you can internally think to yourself, this guy's going to save the franchise at some point. But thinking that a player like Franklin Arias or a player like Justin Gonzales needs to save the team immediately is where expectations start to outweigh reality, and that becomes a problem.
Yeah. The other thing for me, actually, I went, funnily enough, I went back. Carter Wong was called up the day of the game. So started his MLB career on the same day, but guess what? He's still in the big leagues. Ha ha. Carter Wong for the win. Also, funnily enough, I went to a Red Sox Rays game the next year, and funnily enough, Taylor Walls played shortstop. Also, it was another McClanahan start. Just, I guess I love seeing Shane McClanahan. But yeah, Taylor Walls played shortstop that game and hit a home. Oh, sorry, McClanahan wasn't that game. McClanahan was the two other games I went to that year. But regardless, oh well. Ryan Yarbrough gave up the 5 runs for the Rays in 2 innings. Good for him. But I went in 22. It was a McClanahan start, but Taylor Walls played shortstop and just happened to have to hit a homer. Funny enough, Josh Winkowski went 6 innings of 3-run ball in that game for the Red Sox. just, I mean, not bad, but like, can I just real quick read out to you the 3 pitchers who pitched in this game for the Red Sox? Just
Intrigued.
Josh Winkowski. So they lost 4-1. Winkowski went 6 innings, gave up 3 runs. He gave up 2 runs in the third, 1 in the fourth. In the 7th inning, I got the great pleasure of getting to see Jake Diekman warm up in the bullpen and come into the game. And he gave up a run in the 7th. Great. Also should add Taylor Walls. His home run was a 2-run homer off Winkowski. So the Rays technically won literally with just that swing of the bat offensively. So screw you, Taylor Walls. And then in the 8th inning, because the Red Sox needed someone to eat an inning, they were down 4-1. Phillips Valdez came in. So this is Josh Winkowski, Jake Diekman, and Phillips Valdez. That's one game for sure. I can tell you that. That is a wild one. I've seen some wacky pitchers. Hey, I saw Darwin's and Hernandez get a win in that Connor Wong debut game as well. So shout out Darwin's and Hernandez. He actually didn't walk anyone either.
Impressive.
He didn't strike anyone out, but he didn't walk anyone.
I know I have him somewhere. I would love to go back and find like the what are they called? Like the game day things from the games I went to. Like the first games I ever went to at Fenway. The only thing I can tell you is William Opeña was a homer away from the cycle in one of the games I went to. Manny Ramirez hit a walk-off in extras in one of the games I went to. Those are the only things I think I could tell you. First game I ever went to, Nomar Garcia-Parra hit a homer, but that was at Yankee Stadium.
I can tell you the first game I went to, and it was the Red Sox and the then Indians. So the Red Sox lineup was J.D. Drew leading off, Dustin Pedroia, David Ortiz, Jason Bay, Mike Lowell, Jason Varitek, my MLB 2K10 legend and Paw Sox legend, Jeff Bailey. That's a name. Name and a half, I should say. Then Jonathan Van Every was the center fielder, which that's another one. And then Nick Green was the shortstop that game for the Red Sox. Like a really weird lineup, considering this game was in like May. It was May of 2009. So like really weird. For the Red Sox, actually, Justin Masterson started. He went 6 1/3 and he gave up 6 runs.
Jamaican King.
Why they let him pitch in the 7th inning, I don't know. And then for Cleveland, Carl Pavano started, which is they had Grady Sizemore, Asdrubal Cabrera, Victor Martinez, Shin-Soo Choo, and then Mark DeRosa was their 5-hitter. I don't even know who the heck this is. David DeLucci was hitting 6 for them.
How dare you?
Bro, I was not even 6 years old.
You're right. You're a child.
I was not even 6 years old. I'm reading the lineups and I can barely remember. I thought Nick, so I had to look at Nick Green's page just because I was like, I'm pretty sure his name is Nick, but like, let me double check it. It was a long time. Johnny Peralta was there.
I need Jake here. I don't like being the old person.
Johnny Peralta was their shortstop. Then
Red Sox legend Johnny Peralta.
Yeah.
Played a whopping 0 games here, but was technically in the organization.
Ben Francisco was their left fielder. And then Kelly Shopik was their catcher.
Another Red Sox legend.
Yeah. Which was the Guardians went through that game with 2 pitchers. It was Pavano and then Aaron Laffey went 3 innings out of the bullpen for a 3-inning save. Whereas the Red Sox went Masterson for 6 1/3. Like I said, why he saw the 7th inning. blows my mind. He gave up 3 in the 7th inning. Then Hunter Jones came in, pitched an inning and 2/3. And then the last pitcher was Javier Lopez, who gave up 2 runs in the 9th, which blew his ERA up to 10.38. Just, that was rough. 10.38. Yeah, I had a couple of bad games. I went in 2011 when they played the Angels, and they lost 11-0. And this was 2011 John Lackey on the mound.
Oh no.
4 innings, 10 hits, 8 earned, 3 walks, just 1 strikeout. His ERA went up to 7.16. You think that's bad? No. You think that's bad? The next 3 2/3 innings, Scott Atchison went 7 hits, 3 runs, 1 walk, just 2 strikeouts.
Awesome, dude.
His ERA went up to 7.36. Hey, at least I got to see Rich Hill pitch the last inning and a third. But
Scott Atchison was like, he genuinely looked like he was just like a 40 and up, like beer league softball team player.
Yeah. I mean, the Red Sox lineup that game was like obscene. Like Ellsbury, Crawford, Youkilis, Adrian Gonzalez, Ortiz, Jed Lowry. Hello. JD Drew was hitting 7th instead of leadoff this time. And then there was Jared Saltalamacchia and Marco Scudero. And then the Angels had Eric Ibar, Howie Kendrick. They had Bobby Abreu, Torrey Hunter, Alberto Callaspo, Vernon Wells, Mark Trumbo, Jeff Mathis, and Peter Borges.
I Trumbo, you Trumbo.
Yeah, it was Joel Pinheiro was their starting pitcher.
Did he pitch for the Red Sox? Joel Pinheiro, I think he did.
He had a career 441. He pitched for the Red Sox in 2007.
Okay.
31 games. He had a 5.03 ERA, 34 innings. And he got traded to St. Louis. So yeah, and then they went from him to Rich Thompson. And then the guy ended up with a 5.40 ERA after this game, but it was Francisco Rodriguez. As we all know, good old K-Rod. I'm just joking. It was not K-Rod. It was a different Francisco Rodriguez. Gotcha. You thought you were going to get the great K-Rod? Nope. You get Francisco Rodriguez from Mexicali, Mexico, who pitched for 2 years in the big leagues, had a 4.43 ERA. I was so close. But yeah, those are my first 2 games, and the 2011 one was bad because that was when the Bruins were in the playoffs. And that's the year they won the cup. And it got so bad. There was a little like small rain delay, I think, as well. Or maybe it wasn't a rain delay, but like everyone kind of moved out of the seats and then moved back in once the rain kind of settled over. And literally people were chanting, "Let's go Bruins" for like the last like 3 innings. It was that bad. It was just everyone just chanting, "Let's go Bruins." And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Like, this is... I'm like, I literally turned to my grandfather. I was like, why are they chanting for the Bruins? The Bruins aren't playing. And my grandfather goes, yeah, because, well, they're losing. Then my other game, the most famous game I got to go to was game 1 of the ALCS where Anibal Sanchez shoved it down their throats. Oh, my God. Hey, at least I got to see Quentin Berry pinch run for Daniel Nava after Nava got the team's only hit. At least there was that. It was, because Leicester was really good in that game, and then they went Tozawa, Breslow, and Koji. It's like a stupid, like, literally, that game, like, the pitching did not deserve to lose that game.
Yeah.
Anibal Sanchez walked 6 people as well in that game. It's not like he was, like, crazy. I mean, Pedroia walked twice, Napoli walked once, Nava walked once, and Steven Drew walked once. But yeah, it was that was a rough game. Sanchez was just dealing. The only good part about that was when Joaquin Benoit came in, they just started yelling Benoit at him. Everyone just started yelling Benoit, which was good. I got to see Al Albuquerque pitch though. I will say one of my favorite names. One of my favorite names, just because his first name's just Al, and then his last name not only starts with Al, but then is like 50 letters long. Al Albuquerque, just double Al. Al. See, do we have anything else to cover? I know we're closing on the 2.5 hour
mark. Not really. Just a couple single A notes, just kind of because we kind of skipped over it. Skylar King, 7 for 19, 3 steals. That was probably his best week of the season. Ty Hodge, 5 for 13, 4 RBIs. Andrew Zapata went just 3 for 15, but he did walk 7 times and stole 3 bases. And then on the pitching side, I think there was just 2 guys. Barrett Morgan had one of his better starts of the year, one of his better outings of the year, I should say, because he has done both. 5 innings, no runs, 1 hit. He has a 2 ERA on the year, 1.77 batting average against, 1.06 whip. 6 games, 3 starts, 23 strikeouts, 8 walks, 18 innings. And then Williams Rodriguez appeared in 3 games this week, allowed just 1 run. It was unearned, didn't give up a hit over 5 in the 3rd innings. Has a 5.59 ERA on the year, but just a 1.14 whip in 12 games. So some bad luck. Kind of just like doesn't give up a lot of traffic, but it seems like when he does, he gives up the runs with it. 18 strikeouts compared to just 5 walks in 19 in the 3rd innings. So he's been a lot better than the ERA suggests.
Definitely. I'll just also chuck in Louis Andujar? I don't know. I'm just saying Louis. Louis Andujar won FCL Player of the Week, which is it's interesting. The FCL is so interesting. I'm more so interested in seeing the Sox prospects report on him when they get like a more updated report on him. Currently, he's not ranked. I'm pretty sure he's not ranked.
No, he is. The FCL team has gotten an absurd amount of buzz recently.
Yes, they have.
He's someone I think is going to fly up their rankings. But I always like when Jake does the FCL minute. I say this to a lot of people. I'm not a big fan of talking about the FCL or the DSL just because we don't see anything. We don't get any like the underlying stuff.
Yeah.
We don't, and you see it every year. And I'm not going to like name names or anything, but actually I will name a name because he's having a good year this year, so it kind of works out. But like Dalvinson Reyes was someone who got an absurd amount of hype. And then he went over to when he was in the DSL, and then he went over to the FCL, and it was like, oh my God, this guy can't find the strike zone. Wait, he might be terrible. And like, he was like a top 100 prospect. And then it was like, he's still off the Sox prospects top 60. Like, they're just like, never mind, this guy doesn't have it. And now he's having a solid year in single A, but like the FCL and the DSL is just such a crapshoot with this stuff because you're not seeing the stuff. You're going up against
these guys are so young too. Like,
yeah, you're going up against talent who's never even gonna make it to single A. Like,
yeah.
But there's Sadviel Delzin, who people are super jacked up about and looked really good in the no hitter that they threw last week. Or no, I guess that was this week. There's Harold Rivas. There's Hector Ramos. There's Franklin Primas. There's Luis Andujar. There's Dorian Soto. Obviously, like the FCL team is stacked, and Andujar has been easily their best hitter. But just the thing with him is he was like not really highly sought coming into the year. Like, he was not a big name, which again, it's like, it's been, 40, 50 at bats. So, and I didn't even mention, like, there's also Conrad Kaysen. So like, that's just another one, but, So it's like, is it just a really good hot streak to start the year, or it's just it's hard to see when it's again, not to call people out, but like D'Angelo Ortiz this week had a double that the center fielder lost in the sun. It was a fly ball that the center fielder lost in the sun, and it was a double. I'm not saying this is what happened, but for all we know, that's one of the doubles. Nelly Taylor this last week had a double, the same thing. The third baseman couldn't find it, and it ended up being a double. It was a great sliding play by him to get a double at second, but we know those because we got to see them. You don't get to see any of these things, so you don't know what's happening. Now, his underlying numbers are apparently very good, which helps the hype. But yeah, when you're not seeing all the things happening and you're not getting all the underlying numbers, it makes it harder to really
judge
talk about these guys.
Yeah, it's harder to judge too. Like, and Duhart's interesting because like in 41 plate appearances, he's got a 520 BABIP, which it's like, okay, like even if you're hitting the ball really well, that's bound to, come down to earth. And like, he's literally only got a 7.4% ground ball rate, and he's got a fly ball rate of 70%. He's got a 70% fly ball rate. He's at 22% line drive rate, 70% ground ball, 70% fly ball rate. It's obscene. That's obscene.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. Like, obviously, he has helped his prospect stock, and that's awesome. And I'm excited to get to see him when he gets over to single A and everything. But it's like people got excited about Anderson Fermin last year. He's hitting 160 in single A this year, and a lot of his hits are bunt singles. And like it's such a different animal when you get to affiliate ball. Like, it's a very different game when you're not going up against 16-year-old pitchers anymore.
Yes. Yeah, no, definitely.
Like, all of a sudden, you're going up against college arms, like I just mentioned Barrett Morgan. Like, that's a college arm that these guys are going up against. Like, Brandon Clark was in single A last year, not for long, but
yeah, it kind of shows the difference. I mean, hell, even this year, right? Like, you go look at Salem and like, you wonder, or crap, who was it at the start of the year, like Salem, that like had no business being there?
pitching
like
wise?
Dylan Brown. I think Dylan Brown was one of them where it was like, okay, no real business being in Salem to start the year, right?
Evan Futrell too, where it was like, man.
Yes, that was the one I was thinking about. I was looking for the name, and you know why? It's because he's in the piggyback section on Sox Prospects. That's why. Okay, I couldn't find him. I was looking for him. I'm like, where the heck is he? But yeah, definitely. I feel like we've covered pretty much a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
So with that, let's take this. It's not going to be a traditional farm system for anymore. It's just going to be a trivia question, more just because I found this interesting. Actually found this out when I was on the phone with Jason. I did a little bit more digging. There have been 3 players in MLB history to have received Rookie of the Year votes in multiple years. I will give a hint. 2 of them are due to 2020 because they didn't reach the rookie limits in 2020.
Okay.
One of them is not. I will give it to you if you guess one of them.
Okay.
Because it is like out of left field. The one that isn't 2020 was 1988 and 1989.
I'm not getting that one. 1988, 1989. I'm just going to throw out a guess and say, are any of them Red Sox players?
No.
Okay, then I'm not even going to guess that one. 2020, and they're out of left field. Like, it's not like Juan Soto.
Well, no, because Soto Soto wasn't a rookie, but like, because if you win Rookie of the Year, I don't think you're eligible for it again.
Was Luke Voigt a rookie that year?
No, I don't think so. No. and let's see. Okay, so we'll start. One guy finished 8th in Rookie of the Year voting in 2020, and then he finished 6th in 2021. And I'll get then the other guy finished 7th in Rookie of the Year voting, and then 5th. One of them was in the AL East, one of them was in the NL East. The one in the AL East was a position player. The one in the NL East was a pitcher.
AL East was position player, and NL what?
The NL East was a pitcher.
AL East and NL East. Okay.
Yes.
AL East in 2020.
I'll even get a little bit into stat lines. So, and the AL East guy played 35 games in 2020, which did not take him over the limit. Then in 2021, he played 144 games. The pitcher in the NL East made 6 starts in 2020, where he threw 32 and a third innings. And then the next year, he made 24 starts, where he threw 128 and a third innings. The position player had 5 doubles and 5 homers in 2020 in those 35 games. The next year, he had 23 doubles, a triple, and 33 homers in 144 games.
All right, and he's not on the Red Sox. I feel
Not
like
on
the AL East has to be the easier one. It's not going to be a Yankee either.
It's not. This person's still in the AL East.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's got to help. Which means it's not a Ray either, because they don't keep their players more than 2 games. If they're good, I should say. Is it Ryan Mountcastle?
It is.
Yeah.
So Mountcastle finished 8th in Rookie of the Year voting in 2020. He had
Okay, hold
one vote. So he had 1 vote point.
That's awesome.
And then in 2021, he finished 6th, and he had 10 vote points.
Can I get a hint for the pitcher?
I'll throw that in a sec.
Okay.
Just of note, the 2020 AL Rookie of the Year went to Kyle Lewis, but then the 2021 AL Rookie of the Year went to Randy Arozarena, who had basically already lit the world on fire beforehand because Randy won ALCS MVP in 2020.
That's awesome.
So he
Also,
won ALCS MVP.
I forgot Kyle Lewis ever won Rookie of the Year. That's crazy.
Yeah. Okay, so Lou Bob finished 2nd that year to Kyle Lewis.
Oh, wow.
This is the 2020 season. Christian Javier was 3rd place. Willie Castro was 4th. Sean Murphy was 5th. Oh, sorry. Sean Murphy was tied for 4th with Willie Castro. James Karinchak was 6th. 7th was Jared Walsh. And then tied for 8th was Mountcastle, Brady Singer, and Jesus Luzardo. So that was the AL
2020 was
voting.
such a dumb year.
Yeah. So we'll bump to the pitcher. This pitcher, let's see, had a 195 ERA in 2020 in those 6 starts. Had a 358 ERA in 2021. And is currently not in the NL East.
Is he still active, though?
He's actually he has not pitched at all this season.
Oh God, I'm not getting this.
He did win a World Series though.
I'm not getting that.
Let's see. He was the number 8 prospect prior to 2021 via Baseball America, number 18 pre-2021 for MiLB Pipeline, and number 5 for Baseball Prospectus.
I'm trying to think of pitchers that aren't pitching this year, and that's making it very hard.
Think about a pitching prospect that started really, really good and then faded really quickly. And this is with a team that has has had that happen to them a lot recently in the NL East. It has won a World Series.
The Braves.
Oh, what's his dick? I know it. Ian Anderson.
There it is. If it was Ian Anderson, yeah, in 2022 he had a 5 ERA and 22 starts with the Braves, and then didn't pitch again in the big leagues until he made 7 relief appearances with the Angels last year. Went 9 1/3 innings and gave up 12 earned. So rough one. The 2020 NL Rookie of the Year voting. So Devin Williams won it. Then it was Alec Bohm, Jake Cronenworth, Tony Gonsolin, Dustin May, Ke'Bryan Hayes, and then it was Ian Anderson, Andres Gimenez, and Sixto Sanchez tied.
Wasn't Ke'Bryan Hayes like really good that year, hitting wise?
In 2020, yeah, he had a 201 OPS plus. He hit 376 with an 1124 OPS in 24 games.
What a shame, dude.
And honestly, Ke'Bryan Hayes probably would have been in Rookie of the Year voting again in 2021 had he played a full season, but he got hurt.
What a shame.
So he only played
just be like a semi not terrible bat. Like just hit 220 even. Or like
what makes it even crazier, if Sixto Sanchez wasn't asked now, he finished in Rookie of the Year voting in 2020 in tied for 7th place. He would have still been eligible for Rookie of the Year voting in 2024.
That's awesome. That would have been so cool. All right, so then who was 1988-89?
It was Greg Jeffries.
Never heard of him.
Who was a 2-time All-Star.
Okay.
Started his career with the Mets, then went to the Royals for a year, then became an All-Star with the Cardinals after that in 93 and 94, and then went to the Phillies, got traded to the Angels, and then finished out his career with the Tigers in 99 and 2000. So he made his debut at his age 19 season in 1987, where he played 6 games and had 6 plate appearances. So obviously nothing then. 1998, he played 29 games, hit 321 with 6 homers, and got 6th place in the Rookie of the Year voting. Then in 1989, played 141 games, where he had 12 homers and hit 258, and got 3rd place in Rookie of the Year voting for the NL Rookie of the Year, which the winner was Jerome Walton, who hit 5 home runs and had a 721 OPS. So, kind of a weak year that year for Rookie of the Year. That was a rough one for at least NL Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Also, funny enough, that year, Ken Griffey Jr. finished 3rd in AL Rookie of the Year voting. So
Jake's getting his ass kicked.
He kind of is.
7-1.
I will use this time here at the end real quick to just mention, I will laugh so hard if Murakami hits 50 homers, even if he only hits 200 this year. I will laugh so hard.
What's he up to?
17.
17?
Yeah, 17 in 46 games. Not saying...
Cool. He has great hair, so I'm all for it.
Not saying that the Red Sox should have signed him, but it's hilarious because everyone said, oh, the Red Sox need a power bat, and then when it came to the guy who has the biggest raw power, they were like, he strikes out too much.
I do think it's funny that, that seems to be a big thing is people want power, but then they don't want the stuff that tends to come with power. It's like, you want power, but you also want them to be the best defender in the league, and you also want them to not strike out. And it's like, man, most power bats, like look at Schwarber, man, strikes out, doesn't play defense. I don't know.
Yeah, no, definitely. The other thing with Murakami too, it's funny. Like he just has his approach and he sticks to it. He doesn't chase. He swings as hard as he can, and he demolishes anything over the middle of the plate. Like, it's actually hilarious because he would fit the Red Sox so well in terms of he swings really hard, he hits the ball really hard, and he hits the ball in the air, and he has elite swing decisions.
Yeah.
He would fit the Red Sox so perfectly. Like, yes, he does strike out, but like, you know what?
Look at the top 3 home run guys this year. Schwarber, 20 homers, 70 strikeouts. Murakami, 17 homers, 66 strikeouts. Judge, 16 homers, 58 strikeouts.
Yeah.
It happens, man.
Literally.
The only guy that doesn't have bad strikeout to homer ratio in the top like 10 is Yordan Alvarez. He's got 15 homers, only 33 strikeouts. Everybody else, it's pretty aggressive.
Yordan's also a freak. It's also that. Like literally. I mean, Bryce Harper has 12 and only 34 strikeouts, but 12 is a long way from 15, 16, 17, 20. But yeah. I think that's a pretty good place to wrap it up, I would say then. So Hunter gets another point. It's an interesting, I don't know how the scoreboard's going to work out, but we'll figure it out.
What are you talking about?
You might run out of room.
Oh, yeah.
Might need a new scoreboard. Hey, you know what? Hunter's winning for once. I don't think he'll complain. Let's hope this outro video actually plays, unlike the intro video. And with that, for Hunter, my name is Derek. Thanks for tuning into the Pesky Report, and we'll see you next time.
Like, this is called the Pesky Report. Like.